Click for me. Click for me. Click for me.
Oh my gosh.
Click.
Oh, you unplugged it?
Click too much for me. Click too much for me.
Immediately unplugs your microphone.
Listen, we need a new intro song. That one is like really low quality.
This one is, it came with the recorder. I need to find a new one.
I could hear like the scratchiness and the like. I could hear it's like recorded long ago.
There's a lot of stuff that I've been trying to like go over. Like recently, if you go to the YouTube channel, you'll see like the banner is all updated.
The banner's nice now.
Is it?
Yeah, it really is.
I'll go check it.
And welcome, Will.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Will.
Welcome, Will. Will.P.
Will
Passner.
Yeah, check it out. Check out the banner.
Check out that banner.
Oh, yeah.
See, it's got the Instagram in the bottom right corner.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
We're updated. We're looking good.
I've liked what you guys have been posting on Instagram.
Yeah, I've been working on those reels.
They've been
He's
solid.
doing a really good job.
Yeah,
You got to teach me how to like edit a little bit more so I can kind of pull my weight here.
I can show you how to do it.
I'm just kind of the guy in the corner right now.
No. It's not that. I've been trying to teach myself how to do it because I've been editing like regular videos for a long time. Will, have you ever edited a video?
Oh, yeah.
Are you like big into it?
Not anymore. My
But you
computer
used to
couldn't
be?
handle it. Yeah.
I used to be into it when I was younger. Like 15 maybe, around that. And then I got kind of out of it, and now obviously I'm back into it. But editing for like modern like reels and TikTok and all that stuff, YouTube Shorts, is so different.
So different.
Yeah, I could see that.
My old videos are so botched.
Yeah.
It's like an EDM song, licensing with the royalty free.
Yeah.
And then like maybe 2 or 3 cuts.
Yeah. Well, it's like anybody, if you want to show people what you're, like basically you have a podcast where you're just talking, and sometimes they're like 2.5 hours long. So you have to show people little snippets to try and kind of convince them that it's actually like worth a watch. And so in the actual reel, you have to make it entertaining the entire time. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
hard to do.
Dude, the ones that are so entertaining the whole time are the like whatever the comment, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
The commentary, and then it's split screen to GTA drifting.
Have
you
you seen
know what
those?
I'm
Yes.
talking about.
Or the
Dude,
cheap games.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
they'll have like
it's-
arrow games. And, like,
Yeah.
it's
just
so,
a little dude running.
It's so
Yeah.
insane because it like captivates. I love seeing like stuff like drift really
Yeah,
closely,
yeah, yeah.
like buildings. It's like
Yeah.
zigzagging through freaking highways.
Absolutely.
They always have the modded out GTA.
It's so satisfying.
Yeah.
And it hooks me every time, and I end up kind of listening and just like staring at the drift video for however 30 seconds.
But that's kind of like the sad thing is I feel like recently it's hard to go through TikTok or Instagram.
Yeah.
Because you keep on seeing those and it doesn't
Yeah.
keep your attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
deleted them.
That's good. I've
gone.
been debating deleting mine.
Dude,
I
you got to.
delete 'em.
TikTok's going pretty soon anyway.
That's what I'm feeling.
So
That'd be crazy.
I would say it probably got another 6 months until it's gone.
No chance.
India just got away with it.
Did they really?
They deleted it. China has their own version of it, which is funny
Interesting.
because
Yeah.
they own it,
Yeah.
but they don't let their people watch it. They have
Because it's a
their
waste
own.
of time.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they have like a different algorithm that runs
Different
over there.
algorithm, yeah.
Crazy stuff going on, honestly.
Very interesting.
India's on the cutting edge. Get this out of here.
That's pretty good.
I like how that's not even offensive because it doesn't even sound like
It
anything
was
real.
more Arnold Schwarzenegger. I just couldn't.
Oh, get this out of here.
I could do like I think of like the Pakistani kids. They're like, "I'll be pilot and I will destroy India."
Pilot, great!
Yes.
That is the funniest video.
Got to freaking our boy Nate brought in another freaking cold. I feel like
Yeah.
half of these pods have had a cold.
Yeah.
I'm on the end of a cold that he brought in from freaking Florida.
It's funny how you travel and
You get it.
it's almost every time.
Because someone's got something.
Well,
when
it's
they come.
freaking
Yeah.
Ray came back from California, gave us all a cold.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And then Nate comes back from freaking Florida and gives us a cold. So it's like, just don't leave.
Yeah.
We would all stay
Stop
healthy.
working.
Everyone
we would all stay
stay.
healthy. Don't go on vacation, bro. That's
Yeah,
lame.
the nursing cohort is just like constantly sick.
Yeah.
Because we can't miss class. So it's like one person comes in with a sickness and then it slowly spreads around their
It's a
table.
super spreader.
Yeah, and then like by the time it gets through, we have about a week of like purity, and it's incredible. And then someone goes to Glenwood and just ruins it for everyone else. It happens as clockwork.
That's the way it used to be, you know?
Yeah, back in the good old days.
Back in the good old days, you just tank it.
When people died of syphilis.
Oh, yeah. Hey, all our immune systems, they were tanks back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what, 10 years old, I'd never get sick.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It used to be different.
Because you just go to, well, I didn't really go to school, but you would go to anywhere whenever you're sick. I had fevers and everything. You would just go to the movies or go to the store and walk around. But now I feel a little bit bad sometimes when you have a fever and you're like, I don't think I should go anywhere.
See, and I think that's the worst thing about the cold that you have now. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think I had that like a week or two ago, and it's mostly just congestion.
It really is, yeah.
And it's not bad, which is the problem.
I know, bro.
'Cause
It's just enough.
Everyone feels bad for one day, and they're like, "Oh, I can totally go and do that," and then they come and like bring it to you.
Yeah.
And it seems like it spreads super easily too.
Yeah, it does.
There's
You're
this-
next, Tyler.
There's this new. I know
Come
I am.
give me a kiss.
I'm ready for it. There's this new culture of if I'm sick at all, I'm a demon if I
know.
do anything.
They've
publicly.
indoctrinated us.
Which I don't think is a bad thing. Like I think that might be one of the
Yeah.
good things of COVID.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, bro.
But
To
I
a
remember.
But our immune systems were way stronger.
That is true. I guess like that's the other side of
Yeah.
the coin is we are making a weaker society.
I remember working in food service with a fever, and pretending.
You were rapping my subs?
Yeah. Yes, I was. And it was just what we did. Like, if you were sick, there was no one else who could have the store open. And I was washing my hands like crazy, and I was, I wasn't like coughing and like most likely I didn't get anybody sick.
Dude.
But it's still nowadays you get even just some congestion, you get the sniffles, and you're like, I shouldn't even go in
yeah.
public.
Yeah, that's too crazy.
Back in the day, it was like almost a challenge. Like
When
you'd get a fever, you'd be like, can I tank this out? Can I go to this shift and freaking work?
And
It wasn't
no
like
one
I'm
will
going to
know.
get other people sick. It was
No.
like, can I do this?
No, there was no like malintention. It was
No,
just
it was like it's like pushing yourself.
it was more like I'm not gonna be a pussy and not show up to work just
Exactly.
because I'm sick.
Yep.
It was like I'm gonna do it. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
get it done.
this. I'm gonna get this done.
It's my job. They're depending on me. I'm gonna get it done.
exactly.
Even in this state of
And now we're weak. That just shows.
Yeah.
Mentally, we're
Yeah.
all weak. God dang it.
I just I always go back to that, like you go back to early man, like imagine a caveman. Like a caveman could probably like mess up most animals smaller than them.
Probably they had the bones.
And like, have you ever seen a picture, or not a picture, a video of a modern human fighting a squirrel? Have you seen that?
What?
It's hilarious.
Oh, like a caveman fighting a squirrel?
No, modern. Like a squirrel
Is it just
attacks
comical?
a guy. It's so funny because they can't even beat the squirrel. Like,
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
what I'm saying is a caveman could have probably taken a mountain lion.
I've been hearing the phrase postmodern a lot. And does that mean us right now? Or does that mean after or
Postmodern.
yeah, like a
Okay.
postmodernist?
Postmodern.
I've been hearing that a lot. Jamie, pull it up.
I was about to say we need a Jamie.
Yeah.
Postmodern is subsequent to or coming later than that which is modern.
Okay.
So
makes
future.
Future human.
That was weak.
Sorry, yeah, that was like a 50-50 if I like throw up or not. Wait, so Will, do you believe in ghosts?
That is a good question. I think I believe in demons, and I think most people see ghosts as demons.
Yeah.
I'm not
or
laughing
demons
at you.
at ghosts, rather.
I'm not laughing at you.
Okay,
I'm
hold on.
okay, yeah.
We'll come back to that question.
Okay,
no,
okay,
no,
okay.
I want to hear your answer right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of spiritual warfare in that front, and I think a lot of people see that. I don't know if I believe in like ghosts is a way of spirits? Because every once in a while you hear those like stories of kids that are like, "Mommy, there's that man in the graveyard."
Yeah.
and it's like eerie, or like,
Mommy, he's under my bed.
yeah,
Mommy, he's in my sheets.
he's sucking my toes. Yeah, but like, and then have you guys heard that story of the kid that reunites with World War II veterans, and he like tells stories, and he's like 10 years old?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if that's just a Reddit post. That's not something that
No,
like,
I watched a whole documentary
Really?
about that kid.
It's really weird, which like goes into reincarnation.
He's a 10-year-old?
He was telling his
Maybe?
dad
I don't
stuff.
remember.
The way I heard it, he was telling his dad stuff like, I want to go see, and he was like name dropping a ship.
What?
And then he was talking about people who were on that ship, and he was like, he would draw all these pictures of like war. And
Take that kid's iPad away.
Yeah. No,
That's the problem.
maybe
His ghost is the screen.
Yeah, it's super possible, but it was like weird. And then when he got on the ship, like they took him to one of the places where a big battle happened. He's like, yeah, this is it. Like he was like, this is the place, and he was like crying, and he was all upset.
Jeez.
But he was like, it was weird.
That is really weird.
There's some stories that I mean they're obviously dramatized, or at least maybe they're not dramatized, but they do really well on the screen. So that it always makes it
like Ghostbusters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It always makes it
Does well.
It always makes it hard to trust it when it's so entertaining, because you know that it could just be fake.
Yeah, and that's what I'll get sucked into, like those Reddit, like Ask Reddit things
Oh,
on TikTok,
yeah.
especially. That's like always what's half of my feed. It's like that and drifting videos, but
Yeah.
but I never know like what's true or not. But they're fun.
Yeah.
Like, and it goes in the same thing. Like, one reason I do believe in spirits is, you know how you hear about stuff, or like you feel stuff with someone else, and you're like, I feel like I need to like reach out to this person right now, and you like do, and they're like, oh, I was about to kill myself. You know,
Yeah.
that's like an exaggeration.
Like the telepathy.
Yeah, which makes me think that we're either like all connected through some spiritual way, or because I my first thought would be like, oh well, if you're a Christian and you have the Holy Spirit, that makes some amount of sense. But it's even for people that aren't Christians, which I think then gets into that aspect of that's not true.
Have you ever had the thing happen where you are thinking about somebody? Like it's not that you're like, oh, I'm having a telepathic thing, right? It's
like a brain blast.
Yeah. It's like you're just thinking about that person for whatever reason, and then they either show up, like, or they call you, or they text you.
It's just like out of the blue.
So weird.
That's the argument I've heard for telepathy, that we actually like. It's somewhere deep in our brains that we can do it, but we just haven't unlocked it yet. Because it happens all the time where you like,
no,
you're thinking about that person that you haven't talked to in a year, and then all of a sudden they call you like 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
Or like something happens, like you see they send you a Snapchat or something.
Yeah. That is super odd that you'll get into
it happens all the time. There we go, bro. That is what I'm talking about. I think that was the best guest burp.
Oh, I can do better. Give me a few minutes. Oh, yeah. I've been getting really gassy recently. Like,
do you know why? Is it because you're eating something weird?
Well, stopping drinking. I've been drinking these, like, just different carbonated, or mineral waters.
Yeah.
And for some reason, man, those just, I will belch.
Those go crazy.
And the reasoning for your dry January or whatever.
Yes, sir.
Do you do it every year, or is it just
no?
Like
this
a
is the first time.
thing?
I actually always thought it was kind of like silly. I was like, why would you do that? But then I actually started drinking a lot last semester. So I've been thinking a lot about it. Like, one, I've been working out a lot more, and I feel like I'm not seeing any progress.
You lose a lot.
Yes, it takes like 3 days before your muscles can start building from one study I read. But
really? Like 3 days after drinking?
And don't quote me on this. Like, look into this. We need a Jamie. But I believe 3 days after drinking is the time that it takes for it to get out of your body to like have proper protein synthesis. So
that's kind of scares me.
I don't know how true that is.
Dude, I listened to the whole, Andrew Huberman.
I'm not familiar.
He's some like health science, like neurobiologist, I think. He's super educated on like health science, and he had his whole like 2.5 hour episode about drinking, and he's like, it doesn't matter if you drink like casually every day of the week or once per week, it has the same effect.
Yeah,
which is
I can see that.
Which was kind of frightening for me because I was like, I'm fine because I'm like I only drink on the weekends or what I only drink Friday,
and you have
Saturday.
4 to 6 beers, and it's not like you're drinking like a 24 pack.
But
by
him
yourself.
saying that, like going like diving through the studies and like getting deep on like what it actually does, it's like it's
crazy.
It makes you like listening to him. It makes you stop doing what he's talking about for a long time.
He's a neurobiologist and ophthalmologist, and he studies at he teaches. And
Sorry, that wasn't as.
And reasons. I think it's the University of
bigger.
maybe Cambridge or whatever. But
I think
he
it's
has
Stanford, right?
Sanford.
Yeah.
University of Sanford or
Wow,
Stanford,
dude,
whatever
your
it is.
Brave browser things are always so cool.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, you're using Brave?
Yeah, I am.
Right on.
But yeah, Andrew Huberman. The
Selfless
Huberman Lab is his podcast, and it's so good.
Okay, I'll definitely check that out.
It's like the best. He reminds me of a professor because he is, but his lectures, which are his podcasts, they're done so well where they don't talk down, but they talk in a simple enough way that anyone can kind of come into him. I really like what he does.
I really do.
And his whole purpose is kind of giving information for free.
Yeah.
You know, obviously he charges people, or he doesn't charge people directly, but he works for a university, which, you know, charges people a lot. So he also, I think, has this moral dilemma where he's like, I know all this stuff, and I'm a smart guy, and I want to spread this information and knowledge.
Yeah. I think it's a very hard thing, too, is like what you're saying about explaining it easily. There's so many intelligent people that understand that very specific niche point and I think they're so intelligent they can't dumb it down. So they can't explain it.
Yeah, it's tough.
So to have like a teacher or an educator or a podcast educator, you know, that explains stuff at a very simple level, I think you have to be like genius mentally because you can process the information and make connections and retain the information, but also explain it to people like they're a 5-year-old, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a skill not only for education, but also personal work life.
Oh, absolutely.
Like if you work in anything technical, whether that's even medical is technical, I think, you know, anything that is, you need to know a lot to really know what's going on.
Small one.
It was a small one.
Yeah, there wasn't. It
you
didn't
fart?
need to be. No, it was a burp.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you went into your pouch.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
go
you
into the
pouch
pouch so, you know, I don't spread germs and stuff. I'm a nursing major.
No, I'd headache.
But yeah, if you work in something technical, and then you can also, I mean, like most likely there's salespeople who work with you or something else
You
related.
gotta be able to talk to people.
You have to be able to talk to everyone related to,
Especially,
whether
I
it's
think,
a project or a person or something.
I read Jordan Peterson's book, and he said you only know something if you can explain it to a 6-year-old and have him understand it.
That's yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense. And I think about that sometimes when I talk about stuff, and I'm like, I can't, like, for a 6-year-old to understand what I'm saying. Like, I actually don't know anything.
That's true.
It makes me feel so dumb.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
There's a concept where if you want to know how well somebody who is explaining something to you actually knows something, listen to how technical they talk. Because if they talk really technical, they probably don't understand it as well.
I could definitely see that.
But what were you saying? Yeah,
Dude,
I wouldn't worry about it. It'll come back around.
You know what does it so well is Derek from More Plates, More Dates.
Yeah.
Do you know him?
Uh-huh.
I'm not familiar with him
Dude,
either.
what? You're in the medical field. You're in the nursing major.
Yeah.
I knew Jordan Peterson.
That's good. These are like health science gurus.
And what's that guy? Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan?
Ja Rogan.
He knows his stuff too. That dude's got a memory like a freaking whip.
He's insane.
Bro.
Yeah.
I get sad like when I hear the stuff he conjures up from like 20 years back.
Uh-huh.
I'm like,
Yeah, it's incredible.
I can barely remember like what happened throughout the week.
I'm also sorry.
No.
I'm also curious
ahead.
because he's like talked about nootropics a lot on his show.
Yes.
And that like he's open about what he's taking.
Yes.
I wish they weren't so expensive because I'd love to try them and
So-
see.
Is it what
I've
the
never-
On It stuff?
Yeah, On It Alpha Brain.
I've tried. Well, actually, we've tried the new cube, the nootropic. It was pretty good.
It was weird.
I gave you
Was
some
it?
too.
In a way that you felt like you had super clarity.
I
or
didn't
did you
expect it
just-
to work
as well as it did.
that much.
That doesn't surprise me
I
at all.
didn't expect it to make that big of a difference.
Yeah.
And it didn't give me the caffeine anxiety, but it felt the closest thing I can compare it to is caffeine.
That's interesting.
But I didn't get anxiety.
I've never done Adderall, but I feel like it's kind of similar to like what
like
Adderall.
an Adderall with less side effects.
But
It's
so much
it's
more
not. It's
natural.
probably not as strong. Yeah, this is all natural. It's like the ashwagandha and like cat's claw and like all the natural like whatever's the
lion's mane. And,
It had lion's mane in it. It was pretty cheap too. I think it was like $40 for like a 30-day supply.
Oh, that's not too bad.
And you would take it before you did kind of anything, like if you're doing anything on the computer or like reading, doing school or anything like that. You just took it, you took the dose, and it kind of clears your clouds in your head.
Interesting.
It's pretty nice.
See,
Pretty nice.
I've been struggling with like, I guess, cloudiness.
Yeah.
And I normally will have like an Americano or a large cup of coffee
Yeah.
before I start
Which
school.
I think helps a lot.
I
Like,
do too.
Coffee helps me a lot.
Very
Like,
much so.
Clear out, but it does give you that like you sweat a little bit and like I get a little jittery.
And I've been getting to the point where I drink too much and I'm just like sitting there and I'll just be like, I want to scream right now.
Yeah.
Like, like I'm not jittery in the way that like I'm shaking all the time, but it's like I could run a marathon.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
The issue is the tolerance for me. I build up a tolerance to caffeine, but it's not like I don't get the side
too.
effects. Like the side effects still come through, but I just
you just depend on
don't
it.
I don't get the good parts of
Yeah.
it. So I'll be drinking all this caffeine, or
Yeah.
like usually it's just my choice is usually just black coffee.
That's how I am too.
Yeah. So
Same.
and I'll drink way too much, and then I'll be just kind of anxious that day, and it lasts so long that if like you're anxious, you just feel like you're generally anxious. You don't feel like it's from the caffeine. You forget it's from the caffeine.
Yeah.
And if I drink caffeine past like even past noon,
If
I
it's
can't
past
sleep.
3 for me, I'll be up just sitting in bed.
Yep.
Like, just
no.
gears turning.
Dude, the
still.
half-life, the half-life is like whatever 8 or 9 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The last time I did that, I drank a cup at like it was on here actually.
It was.
It
I
was with
remember that,
Chandler. It was
yeah.
like 4 or 5 o'clock in the
man.
afternoon.
Yeah.
And it, dude, because we had just run 17 miles, so I'm like, no way. Like I hadn't had any caffeine before that, so I'm like, no way, it's gonna freaking keep me up. Of course it does.
You're gonna be exhausted.
It always
yeah.
does.
That's tough.
And it's crazy. Yeah, your body is like wanting to go to bed, but your mind is just like
Yeah.
churning and churning and churning.
Now, as soon as I have like 2 or more beers, instantly it's away.
Yeah,
Because
I have
I'll
the
drink
same
a Red
thing.
Bull at like 6 or 7, and then we'll like go to Glenwood, and then I'll have maybe 6 PBRs,
Yeah.
and I sleep like
Yeah.
a baby that night.
Yeah.
See, that's
And
that
that's
is
dangerous
crazy.
for me too because I get that too.
Because your body doesn't know what to do with the stimulus and depressant.
Yeah, and I can go to sleep. if I've been drinking that night, I have no issue going to sleep. Which-
it does affect the quality though of your sleep.
100%.
The quality of your sleep just freaking tanks.
Tanks.
Yeah.
But some nights, if I'm just sober as a church mouse, just going to bed, I'll stay up. I'm just sitting there in
I've
bed.
never heard that before.
All I'm
They are
doing,
sober.
all I'm doing is getting angry. I'm just getting angry because I can't fall asleep,
Yeah.
and then the anger keeps me up because it's like my adrenaline starts going.
Dude, there was this one book I read. It actually like he was talking about it was a psychological book, and he was talking about just what you're talking, where you're laying in bed and you're angry that you can't fall asleep.
Yes.
And there's this therapy or a trick you can play on your mind. It's called paradoxical intention. And I can't explain it like super clearly, but it's like when you're laying in bed and you're angry, you're like, fall asleep, fall asleep, fall asleep. You do the exact opposite. You say, stay awake, and then you add like some sort of dark humor onto it.
Yeah.
It's like, stay awake or your freaking anus will explode. Something like that. And I swear to God, I was in the same situation that you get in, and I like did that trick for maybe like 5 minutes. I just kept telling
Yeah.
myself something stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, stay awake. You won't. You can't do it. You freaking little baby. Freaking, yeah, you're going to poop in your bed tonight, you know, if you go to bed. And then all of a sudden, like, I was super awake, and then 5 minutes later, I was gone.
Interesting.
It actually, it works.
Neat.
And I researched it for a while, and a lot of people have a lot of success with it. It's like mainly for public speaking. Like when you get really nervous, like going up on stage and public speaking, you're like, apparently if you go up on stage and you're like, oh, you're going to bomb so hard, you're going to throw up all over the mic or whatever, that you actually like can talk and do well. There's something weird that like something weird in your brain that it hits.
I've heard similar stuff to like if you're trying to get yourself to do something to count back from 5 to 1, and by the time your brain gets out of that cycle of like what could happen, and then you get into being able to do stuff, you know.
Oh, it's amazing that we have this brain that has so many like responses to stuff that we don't control.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of survival.
We have to almost trick it into doing what we want sometimes.
Especially nowadays when survival is pretty easy. Like
it's so easy, bro.
If you wake up and eat food and don't do stupid things, you know, and
you don't even have to have a job to
bro,
survive.
I do a lot of
in this
stupid
country.
things. I do so many stupid things. I'm still alive, and I never really die.
A great success.
I go and I do the thing and I don't die.
Hey, sometimes it's maybe good, sometimes it's maybe shit.
Sometimes you die and sometimes you not die.
Every day I've either died or not.
That's crazy. That is so crazy that we've lived so many days and we just haven't died.
I know. There's so many things that can kill you and we just haven't died yet.
So many things.
23 and 0.
You think about it, everything in this room can kill you.
Yeah. And I like motorcycles and I like cars. I like going fast. Go ahead. No.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's what I've been thinking about too, especially like with the 240 not running and that it's running again. Like I've been driving that since I was 16 years old. Like the first vehicle that I had was the 15-passenger van.
Dude, you had a 15-passenger van?
Yeah, man. It was a...
let's go, man. I freaking had one too.
Yeah, the Ford E150, man. That thing could book.
I had
what technically it's 11-passenger.
I had like I think I had a 350 club wagon.
No way.
Yeah, it's huge.
Dude, and then Philip had a Ford Astro, or not a Ford, a Chevy Astro.
No way, dude. That is one of the coolest vans out there.
They're so sick. But I had that, and that was something that taught you, you know, the boundaries of your car because you have to.
You have to know.
Like especially I used to go into Raleigh all the time, so I had to parallel park that thing. But I was thinking about driving that, and then I drove the 240 for so many years, which has no airbags, the seatbelts. I'm not convinced work. Like no roll bar, nothing, and you
it's
know,
you,
and you drive it like you stole it too.
Yeah,
like it's a
fun to drive.
Drift car.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was thinking about that. I was like, honestly, I feel like having a motorcycle would have been safer from 16 to like, because I wouldn't be trying to drift a motorcycle. Like I know my limits. I'd stay in my lane. But
I used to drive that Miata.
Dude, that thing that's another death trap. Like
it had the issue is I'm not even that tall, but I'm tall enough that the roll bar that I had in it, my head went above the seat, and if I put my head back, it would touch the roll bar, which means if I got rear-ended in that car,
that's straight to the back of your head.
The soft spot on your head, it's like at least like CTE, but really you could just instantly die.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
So I really do feel safer on my motorcycle than I did in that car. At least for people rear-ending me.
Yeah. That's kind of a dangerous area.
I feel pretty safe like on the motorcycle.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of techniques that you can use to, if you just make habits out of them. That, like, for example, when you pull up behind a car at a stoplight, you always pull up so that if you did get rear-ended, you would get pushed away, or like you wouldn't get pushed directly into the car in front of you. You pull up
to
so
the
that
side, so you go into like the ditch or something.
You'd go into the ditch, or maybe you'd still hit that car, but you'd hit the side of it.
Yeah, instead of not being able to go anywhere.
Which is the difference between you becoming a car sandwich and you know.
Sorry, I have drinking problems.
Yeah.
And I'm always thinking like, when you pull up behind someone, you're like right at their mirror or whatever. And you're like, as soon as you stop, you're just staring in your rear view.
Yeah.
Like at least for me, I'm just staring in my rear view. Yeah. And if someone's coming up fast, I start to like creep up kind of next to the car.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not a danger for me, but you know, you learn that technique where it's like you just stare at your review and
I
see
was
if
in my
freaking Molly's coming up
Yeah.
on a new iPhone, freaking texting her BS.
I was in my truck that I drive right now used to be my dad's, and he used to take me to middle school every morning. And one morning, I'm not paying attention. I'm just like, Dad, you want to know what? I'm just talking because I love to talk. So I'm just talking his ear off, and he just stops listening. And I'm like, what's going on? And I see him looking in the mirrors, and then he just floors it and like pulls off next to the car that we're behind, and I'm like, what's going on? And then a car comes and smashes into that car.
Holy
and I'm like,
frick.
whoa. I'm like,
That's pretty boss.
I was so like, obviously it's your dad, so you're already so,
But that's
like,
a new
wow.
hero status.
I was
Yeah.
like,
Fatherhood.
holy shit, that was awesome. And I mean, I drive that truck still, so it's, I mean, that day it could have been over with.
Gosh, yeah.
That's wild.
If he was tired at all,
Yeah.
like if he just had a lapse, like just like kind of driving, just listening to you.
I'm just talking to him, and he's not paying
Yeah.
any attention. All of a sudden, he's like dialed into the rearview
That
mirror.
is so
Like he's
crazy.
so dialed into the rearview mirror, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And I don't think to look back. I don't even drive yet. I don't even know. And then he just. It was like quick. Like we were like, I was like, "Whoa!" And we're in the
See, dude?
in the ditch, and then
It's
the
crazy.
car hits the other
It's
car.
the telepathy. You just feel
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You just
Yeah.
feel something.
It's the spider sense.
One
Yeah.
time I was turning out onto this road, right? I'm behind two vans. There's two vans in front of me. And they're both just whatever, minivans, you know? And I noticed that one van is the van in the front is stopping or slowing down to turn, and it's a 2-lane highway, so he's stopping like in the moving lane. And the van behind him is not slowing down, but I'm watching like a couple hard cars ahead, so I'm way back. And then the second van is like swerves off the road and gets on the side. I think because he thought I was gonna hit him, but meanwhile I've been watching like a couple of cars ahead, and I'm like, "There's some weird stuff going on here. I'm gonna give him some distance." And the car's
Oh
doing.
my God.
It was so insane. Like it looked like an action movie happening, and I'm just sitting there like giving them distance. Like I don't know what they're doing up there. What's the closest you've been in? Like you guys have been into getting into an accident?
Well,
Well,
or do you want me?
ahead.
I can go. I
go
have
ahead.
one
All right,
list.
got it. You got it.
All right. We were driving up Old Stage, and we were just like, you know that part where there's the hill, and it comes to a T? I don't remember.
There's a lot of hills on
There's
Old
a lot of
Stage.
hills.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, so you're on
There's a
1010.
lot
You
of
take a right on
Ts.
the Old Stage. You go down that
Take
way,
a right.
and let's say you're trying to cut over into Garner towards like Aversboro Road, and you
Yeah.
take that right, and then it
Vandora
goes,
Springs.
yeah, onto where the roundabout is, where
Yeah.
Max
Yeah,
lives at.
Vandora
Yeah.
Springs.
So I was coming up there, and we just were like cresting that hill.
Yeah.
And there was a trailer in front of me, and you know how like traffic gets bad there.
Yeah.
And it backs up. So it was the last car going towards Raleigh was stopped there on the other side of the hill, and this like big souped up truck, like lifted and everything.
Yep.
Comes flying over that hill. And didn't see him, and then like slammed on his brakes, and instead of rear-ending the car, came over into my lane. So I'm
serious?
coming up the hill, and all of a sudden like this massive 9-ton truck starts coming at me at like crazy speeds, right? So I see him come up. The truck in front of me has a trailer. He hits the trailer, flips it over, and then comes like directly at me. And Lena, Becky, and I were in the car, and we just got Chick-fil-A. And I like put the thing into the ditch.
Yeah.
Like I had to pull Delilah, like my child.
Oh my God.
Into the ditch, and then he like flew by me. So then I get out of the car, and then my instant thought is like, okay, let me go check on the dude that's like flipped over.
Yeah, exactly.
So went up to him, started chatting with him, and the first thing he was like, I'm totally fine. I was like, okay, well if you need like a court reference or something, like that dude was out of control.
Yeah.
Like, that was just stupidity.
Yeah, it
Like,
was. Especially that little hill.
Yeah,
It's
it-
so like, I always brake.
Yeah, you
right
slow
on that,
down going into that. Every time I come up to it, I know that I can slam on the brakes.
You can't see over it.
Yeah,
You can't,
and there's a light right there.
Yeah, it's so dumb, bro.
I have to think about stopping uphill too because it uses less brakes.
Yeah, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
Like that's the best part of my day is when there's a light on top of a hill and I can downshift into it and then come to a complete stop and have to use my brake to keep me from rolling back.
Yep. So okay, I'm gonna explain this for people who don't understand it. There is a
Explain it to them like they're a 6-year-old.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see.
You're
if you
a
can
6-year-old. I'm gonna
Let's see
explain
how smart
this
you
to
actually are. Are you smarter than a 6-year-old?
There is a 3-way traffic light where one road is the main road and one road is the side road. That is very commonly red on the main road, so you have to stop. Right before it, from one direction, there's this really abrupt but not very long hill, and you can't see the traffic light on the other side of the hill.
Maybe 1/10 of a mile.
Yeah. It's short.
It's so short.
It's maybe
it's so close to the red light.
Yeah.
So on the way up the hill, you can't see the red light, and on the way down, you better be stopping. So it's so quick. So it's actually a really dangerous.
Isn't that has it turned to 35 yet by that point?
No,
I don't think so.
It's 45.
And it feels like it should be a 55 mile an hour road.
It feels
because
like
it's just forest and like windy road. And it's not a bad drive, and it's a pretty drive too.
I always slow down up to that, even if I think that it's green, because I'm always sketched out about that. But if you're not familiar with the area, then you wouldn't think to slow down. You wouldn't even think there was a traffic light right over the hill.
Yeah.
But anyhow, you run up to a hill and you're like, I'm gonna go the speed limit even though I can't see the other side of the hill.
Yeah.
Super. What does that sound
Sorry,
like? It sounds like I can.
Yeah. My mic is being on the Fritz side.
Yeah,
that's all right. It sounds good.
What is that, Mike?
I have no idea. It's a Samson condenser microphone.
Okay.
It's actually my buddies. We started a podcast
Did you
years
actually?
ago. Yeah, this
Are
was
you
years ago.
serious?
Okay, and then we did 3 episodes, I think, and then we got to the point because we were like, let's do 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on the 7th one, that will be our actual first. So then we know we get all the terrible ones out of the way.
Yeah, we thought about that too. But.
So that's what our goal was. By the time it came around to do the 6th one, we were like, so who's going to edit this? And then no one had time. Like everyone was in school.
Go, Tyler. Let's go, Tyler.
So then we decided not to.
We barely edit ours.
Yeah.
Even
ours wouldn't have been good.
Episode 7 with Davis. Adam, my younger brother, just told me the other day that I forgot to edit out an entire pee break.
Really?
There's an entire pee break in the episode, and he was listening, like, is this gonna be like a joke or is this something funny? and then he just listened and like nothing happened. Yeah,
it's so funny.
Yeah.
Dude, so how long were your podcasts? And did they have a time?
I don't think we had a time limit. I think we kind of just talked until.
And was it just a conversation like this, or was it like?
Was it
like
topic
it was like one of those things that you get.
I don't want to point him out. Never mind. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. It gets to the point that we didn't really have anything. So there was no substance. There was no reason to have the podcast.
Oh,
if that makes sense. It was just it was 3 guys that enjoyed hanging out and were like, this would be funny to podcast this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then we just never got around to actually having anything. There was no point in saying anything because no one would really want to listen. It was just our enjoyment.
We're forcing them to listen.
No, that's good. Yeah, as you should.
People don't want to listen, but we're gonna make them listen.
I've been carpooling
people
a lot.
actually want to listen. I'm pretty sure.
You're right. We have a small group of people that
I've been
really
listening.
enjoy
I've
it.
been enjoying it,
dude. Dab me up again, bro. Let's go.
No, people. We're not. I'm not trying to sound cocky. But,
No, please.
But we have a. We talk about the most insane stuff because we just go. We don't really care what we talk about, and we just think stuff is funny. So
I want to get to the point where we can get canceled, and then we say something that gets us canceled.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible.
That's how big we want to get.
Especially if you get picked up by Spotify for millions of dollars.
Dude.
But the reason I'm saying I don't want to sound cocky is because I think everybody's interesting, and especially
That's a hot take.
When I listen to podcasts, I'm usually alone or I'm not hanging out with people, and I just want to hang out with people kind of. So listening to podcasts for me is that I'm like with these people. I can't talk to them, but I'm kind of with them.
You're in the corner.
Yeah, I'm just in
like,
the corner listening.
Dude, that's always how
It's
I
like
feel
me at
like.
a party.
Yeah.
You always just like in a seat in the corner.
Yeah.
And you're like, I think I agree with that. We're like, wait, I don't think I agree with that.
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson's talking a lot.
Yeah. No, it's the podcast thing is I think anyone could do it. I really do. I think anyone can be entertaining or interesting.
There's a few duds out there, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I don't
Podcasts
even...
are hard to find.
I gotta
good one,
say,
I
because
think,
Tyler, remember
personally.
the start, the first few episodes were not like, they weren't super insanely good.
No.
Well, I think I need to start listening to some of the newest ones because I started from the first one.
Okay.
And I think I got to episode 3, and I enjoyed all the ones I listened to.
Well,
So
that's
those-
really good.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even listen to those.
Oh, really?
I maybe listened to like, because I was nervous, like
Yeah.
the first one. I maybe listened to the first one, and it was like, ooh.
The first one was so weird when it
was so
started.
weird. Oh
When-
my,
when
we
the
didn't know what to
first
do.
episode-
And Tyler's like, so what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
It was-
I was like, this is what you do, right?
Yeah.
And like
That's
I was
incredible.
just nervous. I didn't know what to say. And it's not like I'm not nervous around, anybody that we're with. It's just you don't know what to do. You
Yeah.
feel like you're on a performance all of a sudden. And then once you can try and make it not feel like a performance anymore.
Sorry.
Once it feels like you're just hanging out with your friends, that's when it's fun.
I can see that.
It's just you're just hanging out with people, and it doesn't feel like there's stuff recording. Like I'm constantly like making sure like everything's recording, but I don't care. I'm not thinking about who's watching. I'm just thinking about like hanging out. That's when it gets fun.
We're freaking just chilling right now. This is the reason we started it, because we were
Yeah.
just chilling and talking. We're like, we say a lot of weird, interesting things
Yeah.
that we hear a lot on other podcasts. We're like, we fit the bill.
Yeah.
We fit the
Oh,
bill.
yeah.
You guys are interesting.
The
let's go.
the podcast.
Thank you, bro.
So YouTube gives you so much information about like the viewership of your videos, and we post every episode of the podcast goes video to YouTube and audio to pretty much everywhere else. And most of our viewership is through YouTube.
Oh, that's cool.
And YouTube will tell you everything. It even tells you what video sent people to your video. So if they
This
were
is crazy.
if they were watching a different video and then they see like in the how it shows more
Yeah.
videos and they click
The
it,
depot.
it tells you which videos. And there's this it's called like Lemon Party Podcast is the one that like leads to ours the most.
Should we shout out Lemon Party or no?
Have you listened to them?
I listened to
No.
them very
Did you?
briefly. Yeah. And they're from LA.
Oh,
They're cool.
they're West
That's
Side.
shocking to me.
They're West
Yeah.
Side. Wait, freaking that, yeah.
It's this, right?
But that's West Side. Is this East Side?
I don't even know. Is that? I don't know.
I was homeschooled.
Foreskin.
The Middle Eastern.
That's my side.
Nah, but I think it's cool. Like if YouTube is bringing them to us or us.
That is
from
true.
them.
Yeah, we got to get some of them West Coast boys on the pod. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Willie, are you born and raised here?
Yes, I am. So the whole family is from New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah, from Verona.
Verona.
Yeah.
How far is
It's
that
like
from
30
the
minutes
beach?
from Newark.
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 Newark, yeah, New Jersey.
Newark.
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 But you say Newark if you're from there, and you say Newark if you're not.
Where is Rutgers?
Like, I was born here, so...
Do you know where? Oh, you were born here.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing is because now I have all the New Jersey way of saying things from my
Yeah.
parents. So then people are like, that's so weird. Why would you say that? But that, like, the born and raised, like, Phillips
Yeah.
family, they are, like, New Jersey as they come.
Really?
You know? Yeah, they're, like,
like
black hair,
orange skin
silver,
tone,
beautiful skin.
leather.
Yeah, not leather.
A little bit leathery. A little
You know, they
bit
got the
leathery.
silver chain. They're like actually Italian.
Oversized basketball
I was born
jersey.
in New Jersey.
Yeah.
What?
What part of New Jersey?
Like Lebanon Township, Trenton area.
Okay.
But which I don't know if that's exactly true, but that's where I
That's what you've been telling people.
That's where I lived.
That's
yeah.
what we'll go with.
I don't know where exactly I was born.
Well, that's what you identify with. So
exactly.
that's what really counts.
But I was 7 when we moved to North Carolina.
That's true. It's like I was born in Michigan, but I'm not exactly sure if I was or not because I don't remember.
I wasn't really there. I wasn't
That's just
all
what
there.
people tell me.
Yeah.
But I should start telling people I was born in other places.
Yeah, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
My family's all from upstate New York, and then
Okay.
My parents lived in New Jersey kind of briefly, and then that's when they birthed all of us, and then they moved us to North Carolina.
Right on, right on.
North Carolina's a spot, though. I'm
Honestly, it's a solid
yeah.
place. I've been pleased to be here.
I'm really happy that my madre and my padre decided to come here.
Yeah.
It's like we got everything. We got the sea.
We have mediocre everything.
We have, dude, everything's pretty decent though. The mountains are cool.
Mountains,
the mountains
the
are-
beaches are cool.
ocean.
But
RDU is close.
Triangle.
Piedmont, who doesn't love Piedmont?
Piedmont.
Dude, freaking
Cookout.
Texas Pete. Pepsi.
Texas Pete. Honestly, though, I'm more of a Frank's Red Hot kind of guy. I'll be honest.
It's a hot take.
The thing about Frank's Red Hot's a little more creamy than Texas Pete.
See, and I like Texas Pete because of the vinegar flavor, not necessarily like the spice
Okay.
flavor. But like I love that vinegar.
Me too.
I usually do too. It's just a little too watery for me.
Some people
I get
don't
that.
like it.
A lot of people don't like
Yeah.
vinegar, especially like when it comes to barbecue.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people are like, I only like the Texas
I
sweet
think I'm
It's
barbecue.
too sweet for me. I can't
Well, it's the
handle
I like it
Eastern-
too.
It's the Eastern and the Western, and the Eastern barbecue is like objectively better, which is the vinegar base.
I hear you.
It's a vinegar base everything.
That's what I think, but
Everyone should agree. If they don't, they're like they need to
Forced
go. They need to go
execution.
back to L.A.
or Texas.
wherever they came from. Texas. I've had some pretty good vinegar based barbecue in Texas. Actually,
Have you?
Yeah,
I haven't had a lot of barbecue in Texas.
really.
Yeah.
Memphis ribs also are overrated. That might be a hot take for anyone listening in Memphis. Are you peeing?
Yeah.
I gotta pee too, though.
Be safe.
We can take a break.
I don't want to take a break. I don't want to throw this like steaming hot ball of take and then just leave. So, do you have anything to say about the Memphis comic? Because have you ever had it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's
Not
that good.
to
It's
my
not
knowledge.
that good.
I know we used to go to this place. Oh no, party foul. Dude. So how long have you had drinking problems?
Just carry on. Just carry on. I won't get in your way. Just carry on.
What are you doing?
Just adjusting my crotch.
All right.
Sorry. For all the listeners, I just like instead of pouring the Bud Light in my mouth, I just poured it on my body.
No. I'd much rather you smell like Bud Light than like you drink the Bud Light.
What's the word? You're medical, so you should know this. What's the word where you absorb stuff through your skin?
Musk. Musk is the word you're looking for.
Are you sure it's
No,
musk?
it's not.
Something dermal, right? Because in dermal skin, right?
Yeah.
Intradermal. That's it.
I don't think
That's
it's
it. All right, carry on. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
I was gonna say the best barbecue I've had was there's this place in Georgia called Mad Dogs.
Ooh.
And I don't even know if they're still around, but Dad and I used to go to the shooting competition down there, and it was like that's always where we would stop. And
Yeah.
it was amazing. Like,
And they were Eastern style vinegar based.
actually, I think it was
It's the Western.
Western style, yeah.
Okay.
But it was incredible.
If they still like, I don't. The thing is, like, I'm not trashing Western style barbecue.
No, it's just not. It's not what I would choose.
It's just not as good.
But I would enjoy both.
People will be mad about
All right, I gotta take a pee break.
All right,
now.
best of luck.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Which one is this one? Mine?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh my gosh!
You're two.
In my crotch.
Okay, that's you. He just mutes you and leaves. Your barbecue. I know a lot of people who will get mad if you try and tell them you like one version over the other.
People are wild over barbecue. That's not a hill that's worth dying on, in my opinion.
I like both or all styles.
I enjoy most food.
Yeah,
Like
and
there's very few things that I don't like.
Yeah, and there's people who are like, Southern cooking sucks, Northern cooking is great. I love food, and if you give me some food that's kind of regional and I've never tried it exactly before, I'm gonna be excited and I'm gonna enjoy it.
I hear you. You know what's really been like driving me nuts?
What?
Is people's preference on steak. Like, I don't care what your preference is.
Yeah.
You know, like I have a medium rare. That's typically what I go with. Sometimes
You're talking about how much it's cooked or how it's seasoned or what?
how it's cooked.
How it's cooked.
Yeah. So like this isn't. Everyone has their own preference.
Yeah.
You know. So I normally go medium rare.
Yeah,
So
me
I don't
too.
care what other people's really opinions are
Yeah.
on it. So let me tell you my opinion and expect that you'll listen. I prefer medium rare, and then sometimes I go a little rare. Sometimes I go a little medium, you know, depending on what I feel like.
Yeah.
But I cannot stand when people are like, "How could you eat your steak like that?"
Yeah.
Like you're ruining it. It's like, dude, could you put?
Talking about steak,
Yeah, it's so annoying. Like,
medium rare.
People,
see,
me
see,
too.
okay,
me
see,
too.
medium rare. That's like normally what I go with.
It's the only
I
way
think
to
that's
eat a
probably the most
steak.
average.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's the only way to eat it. It's like if it's not medium rare, then it's not really that tender. I guess it depends on the steak.
Maybe I don't know enough about steaks, but
That-
it's like people that are like dying on that hill drive me nuts.
Who's dying on what hill?
People dying on the hill that like their opinion of the steak is the only way to eat the steak.
Otherwise, it's a waste of money, and like you shouldn't even be eating steak if you don't.
I
It's like, dude,
personally, I would die on the medium rare hill.
See,
My mom likes
I'll just-
steak.
Do you like that? Do you like what I just said?
no, I do like what you said, but I
Oh.
don't think if you were like if you're like I like medium rare steaks, and then I was like I too like medium rare steaks,
Yeah.
And then I'll give you a firm handshake.
and then
Well-
Tyler was like I like rare steaks or I like well done steaks.
What?
I wouldn't
My-
be like, how could you like that?
I thought wait, what do you like, Tyler?
I like medium rare steaks as well, which is part of the reason that this conversation is like we all like the same type of steak. So it's not really proving the point. But my mom wants a steak cooked so much that it's like dehydrated. Like she wants it to be well done.
Then
See-
you actually want a burger. You want like ground beef.
Which I don't have a problem if that's how you like your steak.
Yeah, and she
like,
likes
it's
steak.
your taste buds.
She likes steak and she just wants it well done. She doesn't like any pink at all. And I don't want to eat a well done steak, but
it's not my choice.
I'm not
either.
upset about somebody eating a well done steak either.
See,
though.
yeah, it's not something that I would be like, how could you eat it like that? It's
Yeah.
like obviously they like
Yeah.
that flavor. It's the same reason why like some people get onions on the
You're
burger.
not going to
Yeah,
get
I guess.
offended by somebody
I'm
eating
definitely
a
not.
well-done
I'm definitely
steak.
not offended by anyone getting their steak well
I might
done.
poke fun. I poke fun at my mom. You know, I'm like,
I feel like that's reasonable.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like, do you want it? Like,
Dude, I might eat a raw steak before I eat a well done steak. Honestly,
I think
I
I
get
would.
that.
I'd eat a well done before I ate raw.
because I
Unless-
actually like the consistency of like raw steak. I know that might be like freakish.
No, it's not freakish as long as it's freshly carved. Like if you freshly carve a steak off of a cow,
of a guy.
yeah. If it's freshly cut,
You put some
freshly
lotion
cut
in the
steak,
basket.
and I know it's freshly cut, I'll eat it. For
Really?
me, it's about not knowing how long ago it's been butchered off the.
That's true.
Interesting.
And, if
And
it's
how long ago
if you
the
get it
cow
from the
died.
store, it can't
Yeah.
be that long because like the steak starts to turn color when it gets too old.
It does.
I
Yeah.
think.
I don't think I know enough about steak.
There's a lot to know about meat,
That doesn't surprise me.
and not only meat, but how it's processed, how it's made, how it's cooked. Like there's a farmer who grows a cow, and then there's a processing plant, and then there's a packing plant, and then there's distribution, and then there's grocery stores or meat shops, whatever. There's so many different companies involved in getting a cow to your house
It's true.
in the form of a ribeye.
There's a lot of companies. Unless actually the local butcher shops actually like as far as I know cut the cow package.
Yes.
Or they like cut the cow and then they send like the oh god. Cat. They send like they cut like big pieces and send it to the butcher shop
Yeah.
and then they actually cut the steaks out of it. The
Well,
butcher does.
Yeah, but the business model they are going off of is much more of like a small business model.
That's
they
true,
they
yeah.
can't they can't do huge quantities. They can do like, a cow or maybe a half cow every, week or maybe a couple times a week.
Those things have so much meat on them.
Oh, yeah.
So much meat.
I totally want to do the freezer thing. Get a nice freezer and
Dude,
get
I was talking about this with
meat.
Nate last night.
Really?
I was like, I've been wanting to try the carnivore diet.
Yeah, me too.
Because I've just heard really good things about it. But at our current state, like, there's no way I could afford.
It's so expensive.
No way
Very
I could
expensive.
afford to do a carnivore diet.
But
if we hunt,
I was
if
gonna
we
say,
get
if
a
you have
deer,
land,
yeah,
you could...
bro, because apparently, like, you shoot an elk or whatever, you eat for 6 months.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, we have a
So-
lot of deer around here, and if you can prep it right and store it right, it's a lot of meat. But if you can't and you're unprepared, you don't get as much meat off of it. But I would love to. I mean, I have an issue kind of with hunting. Not like
It hurts my heart as well.
It's hard.
It's hard for me.
It's hard for me to pull the trigger on an animal. Not because I care so much about animals, but when it really comes down to doing it, it's so hard to take a life. I've had that since I was really little. I remember one time we were on a field trip and I was in like elementary school and I bitched this kid out for stepping on an ant.
Whoa.
He stepped on an ant. And I was like, why did you kill an ant? Why'd you kill it?
That's a little much. I don't feel so much for ants, but
Ants' lives don't matter. is what
yeah.
you're saying?
But I did at one point. The one time I went hunting, I was up in the blind. It was me and my dad, and this huge like buck came walking out of the clearing. I got my sights right on it, and then my dad's like, "I don't think that's a buck," and it was definitely a buck. It was definitely like it was like an 8-point. It was a really nice deer, and like I just didn't pull the trigger,
no.
and it walked away. And I was
Man.
like,
Adam and I had the most
That's just hunting.
traumatizing experience with a squirrel. Part of the issue is the squirrel thing, where we both had BB guns.
Oh,
and
no.
they were both just loaded. It was the .17 whatever, the little BBs.
Is that like the needle one, or is that like
little brass
It's,
guys.
it's the little brass BBs.
Oh, okay.
Not the big one. There's some that have the bigger BBs.
that are like the needle almost?
They're small, and we both had and they're 10 pump.
Yeah.
Like, and we're going out to get squirrels, and all of a sudden we see one. It's pretty close. And Adam, I swear to you, he takes his gun, just holds it up with one hand, gets and hits it. But it
Gangster
it
style?
doesn't kill it. It just hits it.
Yeah, it just hurts it.
And so that thing falls off the tree it's on and starts writhing around on the ground.
That's a terrible feeling.
And then I shoot it. I get a hit on it, right? And so it's got 2 BBs in it. And it's still writhing, and we're just sitting there pumping as fast as we can, pumping
just to put this poor
yeah,
squirrel out of
and
its
we're
misery.
just
That's
shoot,
funny.
pump, shoot, pump,
Oh my God.
pump, shoot, pump, and it's like adrenaline because I'm like, kill it, like it's so stressful, and then it's eventually dead,
Oh,
and we're
man.
both just sitting there like. Like and it's like it's a lot of work to pump that thing when you're young.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we prep it and we grill it up. We put a bunch of seasoning on it, grill it up. It was delicious. It was like it's
Worth
not,
the kill?
It's not much meat. No, it was so upsetting. And I know that now I wouldn't use a BB gun to try and take out a squirrel.
No, yeah, 30-06 at least.
Yeah.
Explode
The
the
pink
squirrel.
dust, baby. Or
Say,
pink mist.
50 go.
I one tapped a squirrel one time with, it was the pellet gun.
Yeah.
So it was the little pellets.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Well, you must have hit it right in the head.
Dude, I was like probably 30 yards from it. It was actually a real good shot.
You must have hit it in the head
And it like,
or the heart. I guess.
I shot it and it like flipped through the air, like freaked out. And then when it hit the ground, it died.
Okay.
So it was pretty good. And then I skinned it, or my dad showed me how to skin it, and then we like boiled it or something.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
It was not great meat. It was
Yeah,
like,
that's what I've never
they're-
had squirrel meat. But
they're not great, but like survival situation, they're
You could
pretty
live
good.
off
They're
of them.
good. Yeah.
You have to make sure you cook them enough because they
Is it,
can
like,
have all
poisonous?
kinds of weird disease and stuff.
Makes sense.
But
Sure.
but I've never had a hunting. I've never gone hunting where the animal didn't die horrendously. So
That's tough.
I have that in my head.
The ant.
We did have a pretty wild possum that was shot in the back of the spine, and that thing like fell into the pond and just started like flailing around.
my
It was
Sad.
pretty. Yeah, that one tugged the heartstrings. Because like a clean
Something
kill doesn't
about
bother
it,
me
yeah.
at all. Like I have no problem
yeah.
like shooting deer or like killing chickens or like hog hunting or something like that.
Yeah.
If you like
If it's
do it
quick
humanely
and humane.
yeah. But to see it like writhe there in agony is a little tough.
Dude,
But
hogs are actually really aggressive.
they are. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wild. I was on a kayak trip one time, and we like pulled off the river to camp. We set up our hammocks and stuff, and there's this freaking hog.
This noise.
There's just like noise. I was like, fucking hog
Rustling.
We heard like some rustling. I look over. It's a goddamn hog with like the tusk. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And Nate looks at my buddy that was on the trip with us. He's like, I think those things like kill people.
They do.
And I was like, wait, really? And so I got my axe and I like was freaking ready.
You're
And
ready
it
to
came
attack.
it came within like distance, but it never attacked. So we got pretty lucky. But I would have clapped that thing. So we got freaking like
Would have had bacon
what the guy
sizzling
would have
by the
freaking
AM.
serial killer blunt axe freaking bang. I'd have nuked him. And then we would have ate him, bro.
I bet it would be yummy.
I'm sure boar's really good actually.
It probably is.
They
I like
probably have
boar's
that.
head.
They got that fat back with the bacon thing, I think, too.
I like ham a lot. Some people don't like ham that much.
I love ham.
Especially with like spicy mustard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting hungry.
Bro, you're
Yeah.
getting hungry. That Jersey Mike's number 3, spicy mustard. Oh my god, bro! Give me a white bread, bro.
Talking
Give me in
dirty
the
on this
bed, bro.
podcast.
Yeah, catch me in the sheets with my 3 with spicy mustard. Holy frick!
This is Gus's corner.
Yes, sorry
I've
guys.
got.
Somebody interject, please.
Okay. I don't mean to change the subject.
No, please.
Going back to ghosts.
No, it's not ghosts.
Oh,
I want to start a rant
Yeah. Let's hear it.
that I've been thinking about.
what is it?
Okay. Let's say there's an escalator, right? Are you guys familiar with escalators?
Could you explain it to me like I was a 6-year-old?
If you're a 6-year-old, it's stairs that move.
How do
And
they move?
They move in the
speed
direction of
stairs.
the direction you want to go. So they
just
either
on command, or are they like set?
All right, you know what an escalator is. All right, you get on an escalator.
Why? That's what a 6-year-old said. Why?
All right, Gus.
Why would you not want to walk down the stairs?
Gus, there's a
Where's the slide?
There's escalators, and they're pretty. It's a pretty long shot, right? And it goes from floor 1 to floor 2, and they're giant floors. So they're maybe like
25 feet?
Yeah, like huge floors.
Okay.
And you're in a giant building,
Like
and
in
you're-
Macy's or something.
Yeah, you're trying to go to the next building,
Okay.
or the next floor. Explain to me step by step how you get to the next floor using an escalator. One of you two.
Do you want to go, or would you like me to?
You can go. I'm still thinking.
Because I want to see if
Okay.
you're wrong or not.
I think that's subjective, but
It is.
So it depends on what's the situation. Because if it's an empty escalator, I am doing 2 stairs at a time because that is peak efficiency. Like
Yeah.
you
That
could book up the stairs.
That's also
Yeah.
peak athleticism too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So wait, so explain that step by step, because so you go to the escalator, you get on, and then you're stepping up 2 stairs at a time.
If it's empty, right?
Yeah. So like if it's empty, I'll just
If it's empty, I'm going up the one that's coming down.
Okay, that doesn't count. That's,
I'm doing it
okay.
every time.
I would like to do that too, but that's not
I
what
do
I'm
it.
It's not what I'm getting at. It's not what I'm getting at.
give in to the
Okay.
intrusive
What about
thoughts.
you? You get on an escalator.
I do a lunge. I let it
Up.
carry my first foot
Yeah.
up, and then as soon as like I hit my max whatever crotch leverage,
Second foot goes on,
the second foot drags on, and then I'm in the lunge.
and you
position.
ride the lunge the entire way up.
Yeah, until the last little bit, and then you gotta get your
Well, and then sometimes I buff my shoes too on the on the little like
Or
brush.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, or if there's no one there, my brain just went to like me crawling on the handrail and Supermaning up the handrail because those things are usually rubber, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you.
But they'll get stuck if you put weight on them.
Yeah. No. No, they won't. They're strong.
Okay, so
Trust me.
let me get to my point.
All right.
How would you do it?
What is the correct way?
I was working this last week, and we were in this large building, and the only way up the floors were escalators or elevators. The elevators took forever. The escalators were quick. I got so mad at the people who would just get on the escalator on one step and stand.
Yeah, and not stand to the right either.
No, yeah. You can't walk past them.
No. You should. If you're standing, you go to the right. It's
I
like
get
traffic.
on an escalator.
No, absolutely.
And I walk. It's like at the airport. You get on those little things that are flat. You don't
And
you don't get on
them.
there and stand. You get
It's
on there
so
and
lazy.
walk.
Yeah.
It's so you can walk faster. It's stairs, but faster.
No,
so
you're right.
you're walking up the stairs.
No, I completely agree.
I'm not. I
There's
can walk.
there's escalator etiquette for sure.
And I would get behind these people, and they're like these bigger people would just like get on the escalator and just stand there, and I would be like,
It's like peak laziness.
it's so slow compared to just walking downstairs.
Yeah.
If like going down, especially. If
were
you're
they
going
were they
down,
long? They were
They
long.
were such long stretches on the escalator, and the escalator moves slower than me just walking down the stairs. So if you're on the escalator walking down it, it's super fast. But the people who are just standing there, just going so slow, and I have something to do. Like I'm either trying to go grab lunch or I'm moving shit.
A man
Like
with
I'm
a
doing
purpose.
something.
No,
and
absolutely.
these people are on the escalator. There's like a whole line of people on the escalator not moving, and it made me so frustrated.
that does etiquette in general bothers me.
Yeah.
And I feel like our generation is especially bad about it. It also like how would you board or disembark an elevator
I just
or exit?
I go
If
I
you're
go on, and then when the door opens, I come off.
So-
if the
you
door
press the button.
opens, you press the button and the door opens,
Yeah.
you stand back.
Yes.
And you let if there's somebody on it when
let
the
them
door
off
opens,
first.
they come off and they shouldn't have to worry about you standing in their way.
No, not at all. You should
That's
see
facts
them
right
and
there.
then like step slightly to the side.
And
Yeah.
then if you're on the elevator and someone gets on, you better make as much room for them as you can.
Yeah.
And then how you get off is the order you got on. It's so easy,
you're right.
and no one knows how to do it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's so frustrating.
Escalators are.
Is that how you do it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Maybe not the order thing because a lot of times if you like fill up the elevator, it's like
People
hey,
get off at
sorry,
different
the last
floors?
the
Yeah.
last in are the first out?
I'm on like floor 4 and I'm all the way in the back and you're on floor 16.
Well, I'm talking about
so-
especially going down. Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
going
yeah.
down, everyone's loading on.
Yeah.
And then you're most likely going to the first floor to get out of the
makes
the
sense.
building. So I'm talking like you get out in the order you got on. That's just so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going up, it gets complicated.
Your rant is very valid.
No, absolutely.
But escalators are like very tight. That the problem with them is
you can't really walk past somebody.
They're very hard to like navigate past someone.
And I do understand that if you're older or even if you're overweight or whatever, it's like they're kind of dangerous. Like they're kind of hard to get your balance.
have you seen that video
Yeah.
of the mom who
The
saves
grandma?
her? It was like a mom, and she got to the top of the escalator, and she had this little kid, and the freaking like floor dropped out where the
Oh my
gears
gosh.
Yeah.
are going, and she like footballed her baby to safety, and then you just see her get grinded up in the gears, and she's just gone. She's dead.
That's insane. At least the kid made it.
There's
Such
a-
a like insane video.
There's a video that was going around recently of a grandma pushing a shopping cart down the down escalator, and she cartwheels over it, and she just flings up over the cart, and then the cart rolls over her, and then she comes back up over the cart.
Oh no.
Bro, but she deserves that though. You can't push a shopping cart down
No,
the
I know
escalator.
you can't, but she died.
Oh. I bet you
Yeah.
feel good now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
What a
fine.
dick.
I feel fine. No, dude, she should have been alive long enough where she knows that if you push a shopping cart down an escalator, you will die.
What if she had like dementia or something?
I feel like that's got to be what it was.
That's on her caretaker's, plate.
Interesting.
Yeah, who let her out to
Who
the
let her,
to
yeah,
the Macy's?
Who unlocked her cage?
Let her out of the basement. Yeah, no, that's something that like does frustrate me though, etiquette. And then that people like stay in the left lane while driving.
Left
and
lane
drive.
losers,
Oh
bro.
my
I get
gosh.
ticked off
That
at those
gets me.
suckers.
That gets me.
And don't
Riled
you feel a little like I've been in several situations where like a lot of my friends, I'm on a road trip with them.
Yeah.
And they just stay in the left
Yes.
lane, and you feel weird. You don't want to say like stop being a loser.
I don't mean to be a dick
and get
be
over
a backseat driver,
but you're going the same speed as everyone else, but you're in the passing lane.
Oh my gosh, dude. It drives me
And
nuts.
it's so awkward. Like you don't want to tell them, so you just let them do it, and then people whiz past them. They're like, "Man, he's flying." I'm like, "Because you're not flying, and you're in the passing
because
lane."
you're messing up here.
Yeah, yeah, it ticks me off.
You get in the like Highway 40. There's 2 lanes in each direction, and they're separate. For most of it, they're separate. So it's like you're on a 2-lane road, and both are going in your direction. And there's the passing lane, and there's the driving lane. Mm-hmm. And if someone is in the passing lane going slow, I will get so fucking close to their bumper, and I won't pass them.
Dude, I'll flash lights at night.
Oh. Yeah, at
Like,
night I'll flash lights.
keep it
in the
going.
day.
Keep it going.
In the
Lay on the
day,
You
horn.
guys are instigators. I just freaking go around.
in
them.
the day, I will get so close to them and just hold it, like uncomfortably close to them.
Yeah.
And your lights are bright too.
Yeah, and I'm just waiting for them to move over. And when they don't, I get so mad, and then I drive around. But a lot of times they do. A lot of times they're like, "Oh, okay."
They'll normally move, especially if you accelerate quick behind them. They'll start to move over to the.
if you show up right behind them real quick like
Yeah.
that, they're.
Yeah.
Well, they should know. Well, actually, I think the problem is that wasn't like thoroughly explained during like driver's training. If you don't have anyone
No, it
like
wasn't.
telling you that that's actually the passing lane, then I like if my parents didn't tell me that that's the passing lane, I feel like I wouldn't even know. And that's part of the problem.
Yeah,
it's
That's
like
fair.
While like even the road portion of driver's training, like you're not really passing anyone because you're going slow and you're nervous and you got your freaking instructor right there.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be like, get in the passing lane, pass this guy.
Yeah.
Didn't happen for me.
It's also hard too because there are people that take the speed limit seriously in the way that's like you don't go over that, like you drive the speed limit.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Which I understand the mentality for, and I would honestly probably agree with that a little bit more. But I feel like driving the speed limit can be dangerous sometimes, especially if you're on the highway or a 2-lane road and people are going faster than the speed limit.
Exactly.
Then you need to go the flow of traffic.
That's what they teach my cousin lives in Texas.
Yeah.
And he said during his driver's training, they taught him to go the flow of traffic because it's safer.
It is safer.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while I'll be in I feel like a lot of times I might be booking on the highway. So there is that aspect. But I take that with I'm driving and I might need to hit my brakes hard because of someone else's stupid mistake and partially my stupid mistake. You know, can I help you?
Kitty. With a vengeance.
But you know, in that scenario, like I'll come up on someone quick and I'll have to hit my brakes.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, you know, when you're speeding, it's just like the faster you go, the more you got.
the more you have to stop.
You have to be
you know?
aware.
Yeah.
You know.
The other thing is like if you're coming up to let's say you're in a right turn lane and traffic is backed up in the straight lane. And like so you're passing stopped cars. Like you can't go that fast in that situation.
Yeah, because
No,
someone's
not
gonna
at
pull
all.
out.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna get in the turn lane.
Yeah.
It's not the speed that's dangerous. It's the difference in speed
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
dangerous.
yeah, absolutely.
So if you were going really slow on a highway where people are going
30
really fast,
even 30 to like stop traffic in 30 mile per hour.
that's
is
a
fast.
crazy difference.
It's super
in speed.
fast, yeah.
And people pull out all the time.
Oh
too.
yeah, all
It's-
the time.
It's scary.
I watched it happen one time. I was coming up to I was just driving on a straight lane and I watched somebody they flash their lights like get out in front of me, and then there's another lane that they can't see. The people flashing can't see the other lane, and the person's just like, oh, they flashed their lights, I can go now, and they go, and then this other car has to slam on their brakes because there's this car pulling out.
That is the worst when people there's a 4-lane road and you're like trying to turn left or something, and there's stopped traffic up by the light.
Yeah,
and you're turning left, and then one guy stops on a 2-lane oncoming, and he's like waving you.
Yeah,
and there's like other traffic pouring through.
Yeah,
and he just stops, and he's like, go. It's like, you don't understand.
Yeah,
it's like, thank you for not T-boning me. But I'm gonna get T-boned in a second.
Yeah, you're gonna help me get T-boned.
And the thing is, when you wave people like that, you're taking so much responsibility. I've had it before where somebody waved me a little bit and then said, stop. Like
I've had that.
Like their hand comes up and it's like, fucking stop. And I stopped, and then a car flew by, and they're like, they look, and they're like,
and they give you the thumbs up.
Come.
That's when you know you can trust them.
It is
when they tell you to stop. But I had the exact opposite with this one. I like pulled up. It was like pretty dense traffic. You know where it is. You're going towards Fuquay on 42.
Yeah.
It's at like the kind of where the Sheets is, right before there.
Oh, on 55. And
yeah. You're coming up to the stop sign.
Yeah.
And there's that little like out road, and some guy
you can take a right on.
Yeah. It goes to like the Circle K or whatever.
Yeah.
Some guy was trying to turn left out of there, and there was like stop traffic, and I rolled in front of him because I'm like, no way this guy can get out. And so I rolled past him, and he like got kind of fired up. And then the guy behind me like flags him out. He's like, or he just waves him. He just is like, you're good. I'll wait for you. And he's in this little like sedan. Freaking blindly pulls out. He pulls out. And I'm like looking at my mirror, and he just gets freaking T-boned. Freaking like probably this dude was probably going 60. He flips 3 times in the air into the woods. And then everyone's like, it was so, what are you doing? Putting stuff in my shoes.
Dude, that is a rough intersection, though.
Yeah, and he got freaking nuked into the woods, and then everyone got out. It wouldn't have surprised me if he died, because...
Oh, man.
But that's what you get. You don't trust flaggers.
Yeah.
Dude.
And he wasn't, the thing is, I saw the guy in the truck. He wasn't even flagging him. He was just like, I will wait for you.
Yeah.
Like, proceed with caution.
Not
And
even-
the guy just like, he just flew out. And then, of course, he gets destroyed. But also the guy coming needs to be aware that like people are.
Yeah, that's definitely still on him.
It's a double-edged sword. It's definitely the guy pulling out's fault, but it's still like that. It could have been avoided.
Yeah,
could have been. They all can be avoided.
At the same time, also just like wait through the light.
Yeah. Honestly,
like. It's not that big of a deal.
Wait for everyone to go.
Yeah.
It's not that big. It's like maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you're maybe going to wait the 5 minutes.
I do know that side road that you're talking about. And like, if I'm turning right onto 401, sometimes they'll take that side road because it like, you don't have to go through that light.
100%.
But if you're like taking a left, you have to do the right and then the U-turn, you know? And there's not a good U-turn spot except for going all the way up towards the ABC store on 401.
Yep.
The thing is, it's just patience. If you can just have that extra 30 seconds of patience.
I don't think people have patience.
It's all
especially not on the road. It's weird because like the traffic patterns actually are like really good. And like people are so accustomed to really good traffic patterns that when they got to wait for more than like maybe 3 minutes. It's like I always think like while I'm driving around, I'm like 3 minutes in the long term. It's like it's like me like walking from here to my car. It's like it's such a nothing amount of time.
And that's something I've been bad about. Yeah. I've been bad about that recently too. Like I'll leave Costco, on 401 and 1010 and I have to turn left at 401 onto 1010 going towards my house towards 50.
That's a light there, isn't it?
There is a light there. And a lot of times if you don't make that light, I'll just go up 401 and make the U-turn right by the Harris Teeter and then take the right onto 1010 from 401.
Okay.
So, and it saves like a solid 3 minutes and it almost works every time.
Yeah.
But like
text.
even,
the tech.
Yeah. But it's definitely something that like, is a lack of patience because I don't want to sit at the light.
Yeah.
And it's even if it takes the same amount of time and I get stuck at 401 light turning on to 1010, I'd much rather do that because I'm driving.
Yeah.
And it like feels like I'm making progress.
No, it's so crazy.
But it's all because of lack of patience.
All our patience goes out the door as soon as we step in the door.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson says that.
He does.
No,
In
I
the
have no
door.
idea.
Patience out the door. Patience.
What rules?
What reels? Oh, that was too funny.
When you get in the car,
Yeah.
you have to consider. You have to be considerate.
You have to obey the rules.
There are rules of the road, and they're very important. They're there for a reason.
It's like the worst Jordan
See,
Peterson.
How do you define rules?
We have to think about the definition of
Yeah.
these things.
And you can't define it.
There is no way to define it on the individual. It has to be a societal decision.
It's like it turns into
So
Kermit.
bad. It turns into Kermit really quick.
What rules? Miss
What
Piggy, what rules? Whoa.
Having trouble sitting there.
Yeah, this thing is like sliding me off.
Man.
What's sticky and smells like bacon?
Bacon. A brick.
Kermit the Frog's fingers.
Oh, wow. Was that off the dome?
No.
Oh, frick.
I told that to a teacher when I was in middle school one time,
Ooh.
and she laughed.
Really?
And she felt so embarrassed for laughing. She was like, "I shouldn't have laughed. I should."
That's
like,
fair. No,
she
it's
felt
fair.
regret
No,
right away.
That's
no,
a good
dude.
one.
It's fair because you don't have to go inside for the bacon. You know, you can like rub her skin, or like you can rub her like shoulder.
Yeah.
and she still smells like
Bacon.
I think bacon.
Yeah,
That's
I understand.
sorry.
That's a good save.
Oh my gosh.
You don't have to go inside.
I had- we had this skeleton in our third grade class. It was like this skeleton model. It was about
I know what you're
about
talking
real
about.
size,
yeah.
right? And the whole thing was held up on this stand. And there was this giant threaded rod that held pretty much all the bones together. And at the bottom of the hip came out a little bit of the threaded rod. And there was one nut that held it all on. Wow. And so at the bottom of his hip, there's a threaded rod coming out with one nut.
With a
Yeah.
nut.
and I
That's just setting up for a punchline.
and,
Where'd the
and
other
I
one
look
go?
at Miss Janess, and I'm like, and I get all like serious because I think it's gonna be funnier, and this is totally humor coming from my dad. Like it's not me coming up with it. It's just like it's me like kind of thinking about what
Replaying
exactly.
jokes, yeah.
I'm like, Miss Janess, and she's like, yes, Tyler, and I'm like, I think Mr. Bones is missing a nut. and she laughed so hard. And I was
so
like,
awesome.
yes,
dude.
It was like,
Victory.
to this day, it's the best like delivery of a joke I've ever had. And
Were
I
you
was,
teacher's pet?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she laughed so hard, and then she was like, she told me seriously, she's like, you can't tell anybody that joke, and you especially can't tell them I laughed. And I'm like, you know what?
I was like, her job
Deal.
is her job's
That's
on the
funny.
line. Look,
Yeah.
you're like
Because it's literally
anything for you, Miss Jess.
Janess.
Janess.
I
Is that her
loved
first name?
No, it was her last name, Janess.
okay.
I loved her. She was awesome, and she, oh my gosh, she laughed so hard at the one nut because it was funny. It's
That
a
is
threaded
funny.
rod with one nut on it. I'm like,
You said middle school, right?
yeah, it was third grade.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good humor for third grade.
No, that's elementary school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What, dude? My dad's humor, like that I grew up with, was so like exactly that. So it was so
Yeah.
it was like I was trained for this moment, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, she laughed.
The prophecy.
She was like
Prodigal son.
crying laughing, and
That's
I felt what I feel like stand-up comedians feel when they're standing on stage and like
Yeah.
a whole room bursts. When you get your teacher when you're in third grade to bust
my
out
God.
laughing is this like. I felt like Thanos when he had all the little.
It was written in the stone.
Yeah, I was so proud.
The one nut. I saw it.
I think Mr. Bones is missing a nut.
Oh my god.
I saw the tears rolling down her face, and I was so proud. It was. I can't. I've
She had
never
tears,
been,
bro.
Yeah, she was
Oh,
crying
wow.
because I was like this little kid that like let this hilarious joke
Oh,
go.
sorry.
What is
that?
going on?
No,
with your
you sound like a
microphone?
waterfall.
Plug it back in.
How was that? Is that any better?
Dude, your
I
voice
think so.
sounds really good, but
It does.
sometimes it.
It just like clicks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the female.
Wait, touch the
end.
cord. Touch the cord.
Oh yeah, this cord might be a little faulty.
That's a very nice chord.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's brand new.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's never given us problems.
never before.
Wait,
Oh, this
no,
is
that's
my
his cord.
That's your chord. Oh,
It's the same chord basically.
Yeah,
Basically, I guess.
but
I have to go pee again.
you know, I kind of got to too. Do you want to take a break real quick?
Yeah, I gotta fart out
they?
my butt.
Okay.
I had to drive it around for a whole summer.
Yeah, dude, I drove that thing mostly through high school. I actually didn't get rid of it till I got the Subaru. So I had it for years. That's actually
Frick, dude, I got
we took it to
I got
prom.
made fun.
We went to
my mic
we went to a Weezer concert in that thing.
In the van.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
everywhere.
both had
there it is.
giant vans.
That is so awesome.
That's so funny.
Everybody,
Yeah.
when I started my job at Jersey Mike's, my Jeep, like, the engine exploded. So I had to drive our
I have been
our
there.
like 15 passenger work van. All like the seats were out. It was just the front two
That's
seats.
incredible.
Dude, so funny.
Was
Everyone,
it a Ford?
Yeah,
Was it the V10 or was it the V8?
it was a V8.
So it was the V8 construction.
Something like that, dude. It was big.
I want one of those.
They're sick.
I'm not a Ford guy, but I want one of those like 7.3 Power Stroke diesel vans.
Yeah, I think they're
Dude.
the E350s. They're super sick.
That's the thing. Like, thing with Ford that I'm a little iffy about is like they're like middle class, like consumer line is like not really good. I don't like them very much. But as soon as you get to like the like Raptor or like the King
Yeah.
or the King Ranch,
You
like-
start to get really nice things.
yeah,
I see that.
and it's like I know they put the diesels in the like work trucks, but they're still like you see like our work truck. It's like they did as little as possible to
Yeah,
it.
it's
make
bare
it
bones.
to make it drivable and like AC and heat, and that's
Yeah.
it. So I'm not super Ford guy. I definitely like our Nissan a little bit better, but
Yeah.
the Ford is a little bit tougher.
And my sister has a Fusion that's like a 2011, and it drives like a tin can. For like a commuter car, it's kind of terrible.
Yeah.
Like it's loud. It doesn't handle like it's super stiff. It's like driving the WRX,
What the frick?
but like not in a good way
That's the thing is like
because it's still got a body roll.
that like the Ford like $30,000 range like
Yeah.
off the shelf is like horrible.
Yeah.
Like you can get like probably a Toyota Camry or something for $30K off the shelf. It's gonna be so much better.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
yeah.
anything German.
That's where the German stuff's kind of pricey,
It is pricey.
It is,
and
but
it's
like
expensive to fix.
$30K.
but
You can get a German car for $30K.
yeah, and you can get a pretty nice one. And the thing is, the cheapest German cars are all right.
Yeah.
Like the cheapest American cars suck so bad.
Yeah.
The cheapest Asian cars are their best cars.
Yeah, yeah, they are really solid.
Yeah, like a Honda Accord. Like the cheapest Honda Accord you can get is gonna last you
Forever.
way too long.
Yeah.
And even like the Toyota Corollas past a certain point, and
Well-
all those cars, like a Civic, like those cars they last.
Yeah. Well, I drive my 240 harder than I drive the WRX
Yeah.
and take way worse care of it.
Yeah.
And I never had any engine problem with that thing. Like even like now the engine's rebuilt, you know, and that's because I'm like building it to boost. So I want it to be more reliable.
Yeah.
But dude, like I would rev that thing, redline it, like no problems. 240,000 miles on it, and it still is like happy.
Dude, I'm a big fan of Nissan.
I'm blown away. Like 2008 Nissan seems to be a little questionable, but
like Like as far as they're like sports cars or.
Yeah, I've heard bad things about the 350Zs that they really
Yeah.
like those, and then the GTRs they really cheaped out on apparently in that time, which I think most car companies did because of just the economy was so bad.
That is true. I didn't think about that.
But like the 90s, dude, I'm blown away. Like I have a 240, and it is, for those who don't know, it is run through. It is the only upside is it's never been drifted, and it's never been run into a wall. So
His car, we went, like I showed up while he was working on it, and it's got so much wrong with it.
it had.
Well,
it
you
had
gotta
so
take,
much wrong
You got
with
to take
it.
me for a little spin after
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Even like the thing I love about that car is how much did you get it for?
So I worked for a woman who I mowed the lawn for
Yep.
her, and she had it, and her son was into drifting. And he bought it as a second drift car and then
Yeah.
sold it to the sister, and then I bought that car from them for $600.
Yeah,
it's-
and it
We have
looks
such similar car histories, bro. My Jeep was also $600.
No way.
Yeah.
It looks like a $600 240 if you start looking at the minutia. But
We'll see, bro.
no, like I'm
Is that
saying
a diss right now?
No, I'm
Yeah,
saying
that sounds like a diss.
You just diss this
yeah.
man's
Where's
No.
your 240?
drift car?
I don't have one, and I can't find one for $600.
No.
I'm not dissing you at all. I'm saying that when you look at the like little parts of that car, and you're like, "Oh my gosh!" Like
There's a hole in the
hilarious.
floor.
There's like weird stuff wrong with it.
It's a very quirky car.
And there's weird stuff wrong that doesn't even make sense. Like when I was over there when they were working on it, there was like someone drilled a hole where like the switch goes through for what was that? The
It was for
clutch
the
or
brake lights.
The brake lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the brake lights where the brake pedal, you push the brake pedal and there's a little thing on there that presses a switch.
Yeah.
So when you press the brake pedal, a switch comes on and it puts on the brakes. The brake lights. They drilled a hole right where the switch goes, so
brake lights don't come
Brake
on.
lights weren't coming on at all.
Actually, the switch works in reverse, that it has pressure, and when the pressure comes off,
Okay.
the brake lights come on. I'm not trying to like correct you.
Yeah,
but
I'm wrong
You always
completely.
You're wrong. You're wrong, and it's
Yeah.
a great
No.
240, and it's worth more than $600.
But my point being was just that the brake lights were on 24/7.
Oh, that's even worse.
yeah. so then no one knows if you're stopping or accelerating. But
yeah, that's not good.
yeah.
Anyway,
But like
Nissan.
weird stuff for like that's where it's a $600 car.
Yeah.
It's like just really weird stuff.
I also definitely got like hosed on the transmission that I bought. The dude I bought it from definitely like it was. So I learned so much for this engine build. When I bought the car, I barely knew how to change my oil and like change my tires, and that was it.
Yeah.
And my buddy helped me rebuild the engine and then put that in with the new transmission, and we swapped it from automatic to a manual.
It was an automatic.
Yeah. So that was
know
like
that.
part of all the headaches that we had was just
Yeah, I
like
bet.
small stuff going wrong. And then like missing parts. Like I didn't realize the bell housing bolts are different sizes for the automatic versus the manual.
That's such.
And it's only like
Well.
3 of them. So
But
all of
if
them
you
can
get the right bolts, it'll work.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
have to drill anything out.
No.
Okay,
So
okay,
it's literally just the length of the
Okay.
bell housing that causes you to run either shorter or longer bolts.
Okay.
But that all being said, there was stuff that I had no idea about. Like I've never done a clutch job before.
Yeah.
So I bought this transmission from this dude
Mm-hmm.
that was like, yeah, everything runs great. I was running a turboed KA, and then I never had the chance to put it in because the other trans blew, and I decided to go LS. So that's what he was working on, and he wanted to get the
Put
most
an
amount of
LS in his 240.
yeah. I actually have his
Dang.
Instagram still if you want to see it
Really?
later.
Rick.
Yeah. But he sold me a bunch of stuff, including like a solid one-piece drive shaft and then a clutch and flywheel, but it was all rusty. It sat out in the rain.
What?
And I didn't think about it because I was like, well,
Yeah.
it's a clutch. You know, if it's a little rusty, it's going to come off because it's spinning at so fast. When it goes onto that flywheel, that's not going to be too big of a deal. I didn't realize that like flywheels have to be like perfect.
Yeah.
And that's one reason that you have to break them in is to get that super smooth.
Yeah.
So
The
it bites well.
The minor like shape of the everything
Yeah.
touches the other thing,
Yeah.
and it has to be perfect.
And then is it mnemonics? What is that?
I don't know. Mnemonic is like a
That's not
a
right.
word you use to try to remember something.
It needs to be perfectly balanced, is what I'm trying to say.
Harmonics.
Yeah. Thank you. So anyways, that I just looking at it,
Yep.
and then my buddy Max, who is the only reason that car is finished. That man is a
Max
genius.
is awesome. I want to have him on the podcast.
Yeah, you need to, because
Yeah.
he's one of the coolest dudes. He's
Yeah.
also like one of
Really?
the nicest, down to earth guys. Like he's the kind of guy that you'll be like, Max, like I have all this problems, and I just tore my shirt, and I have a date tonight. And he will take off his shirt and fix your problems
That's
and tell you
freaking
to
awesome.
go.
I love those type of
go on the
people.
date, and he'll handle it. Like
Max is
he's
so
the most
cool.
amazing
Really?
dude. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I didn't know him. I went to high school with him. That's how I originally knew him. And he was one of those guys where I kind of barely knew him during high school, but you just go and talk to him, and it's like you have known him your whole life. He's
Yeah.
one of those guys where like even if you don't know him very
Yeah,
well,
uh-huh.
he's so cool and nice and
Is he like other Max?
personable. No.
He's not.
No, he's like
He's very comfortable in his own skin too. He's a genuine person.
yeah, he's got.
Dang, we gotta have him on the pod. What
We'll
the
have him
frick?
on
Yeah.
here. I like Max a lot.
He's also fun just to have over to drink with. So like
Oh, really?
some bonfire might be fun to have him over.
Verplank.
Dude, I don't remember how
His
it's
last name is like
pronounced.
Verplank.
Verplank.
Verplank, I think.
Verplank.
It might
Walk
have.
Verplank.
It might have a ed on the end of it. I don't think it does.
Verplanked.
I always thought his.
That would be sick if you got verplanked.
Max.
Are we both looking at our phones right now?
It's Verplank. I was right.
Yeah.
Walk Verplank.
Max
Anyways.
Verplank. The coolest guy ever.
Huge help. Helped me get the whole car, like, and just the knowledge too. Like he went through the Wake Tech auto mechanics program. So me not knowing anything about engines, he's like, give me all these tips, and then like,
Yeah.
this is how you do it, you know. So we got that done. I totally forgot where I was going with the 240.
Max is awesome,
Max
dude.
Pretty
I
much, dude.
love him.
Yeah.
I haven't even met him, and I love him. Oh,
No,
Selfless plug.
we
The
started
game
at
right now.
we started at the. It was a manual swap, and you learned so much about. You learned.
Oh,
so
I got
much,
hosed. That's what I was talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I paid like $500 for, maybe $400 for this transmission and drive shaft. So like if I bought it new, it'd be way more than that.
Yeah.
But I was looking at this clutch, and the springs were rusted too. So it got to the point that I was like, I don't know if this is even going to work. I don't want to get this into the car, get it in, and then like have to unbolt
Pull
the
it again.
transmission. Yeah, and put in a new clutch. Like that's going to be a nightmare. Because also the nice thing about pulling the engine with the transmission was it was pretty easy to do the clutch. Like because you're not underneath the car like trying to.
And it's probably
Trying
not
to
a
do it.
super heavy transmission either.
No, it's the automatic I could lift. Not easily, but I could lift, and that was like 250 maybe.
Yeah.
And that was a big
strong boy.
Oh, thanks. You know,
Freaking strong boy.
But-
250.
but the
wait.
I mean,
but the manual transmission is like I could comfortably lift.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
So I'm
They're a
not-
lot
That would have been
smaller.
a pain,
Yeah.
bro, if you put that clutch in, because I know it wouldn't have worked.
No, it wouldn't have, because
It
I
wouldn't have
even
worked.
for those who don't know, which is everyone except for these guys, I bought brand new injectors and put them in before the swap. And I talked to some other 240 boys, and what they think happened is we think that like with the moving of everything, all that extra carbon and like 30 years old of just fuel lines that are all gunked up
Yep.
came undone and clogged the fuel injectors.
Yeah.
So like while we're troubleshooting, we're like, well, we have plenty of fuel pressure. There's no way these brand new injectors are broken.
Yeah.
Like they're brand new, you know? And turns out part of our problem was the injectors.
Dude, that is so crazy.
Yeah,
and
and it was-
that even could happen.
Yeah, and that's like one of the reasons it was such a headache. Is
I
every
would've flipped
step
out.
forward was one step back. Like it was a nightmare.
I would have never thought. I would have never come to that conclusion. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're brand new. There's no way.
See, and that's
Yeah.
why I was
Yeah.
like, I was so adamant about. I was like, this can't be. And then thankfully I was talking to other guys, and a lot of the guys that I know that have 240s are now boosted.
Yeah.
So they can't use these old injectors. So one of my buddy, also huge shout out, selfless plug to this guy, Aaron.
Hey, bro.
He was like, he's like, yo, I got injectors. Just like come to the house. Brought him a case of beer. He was like $20 for all 4 of them, you know, and ran that. And that's what I'm running now. And they run fantastic.
Good.
Yeah. But anyways, so I got hosed on this deal, just stuff like that. But
yeah. Well, I guess, was it that bad of rust? Maybe you could have wire wheeled it.
I don't know. I still
Something?
have it. I
Yeah.
still might try and.
I mean, if he sold it to you for $400 or $500, you could sell it
to some other schmuck.
to sell. Dude, just freaking wire wheel it and get her out the door.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably keep it because if I do start going to drift events, which my clutch shouldn't go out like this, so I upgraded the clutch too, which I think will be good because if I'm
Heavier
running
clutch.
boost, this one holds supposedly like 330, and I'm like really trying to break it in properly. So
That's 330
crank.
crank.
You
Yeah.
have a welded diff right now, or you have an open diff?
I have an open diff, and then I have a Nismo LSD that's going in, but I didn't want another headache.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me
You got to deal
leave
with all
the
the
diff.
lash.
Yeah.
It's a lot to. Yeah.
So I was like, I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal, but I have that, and then some like beefy sway bars that are going to go on there too. So I figured one, and also I didn't want the temptation of having a manual car and just to dump the clutch when I haven't broken it in.
Yeah.
So I think during spring break, because that's like 6 weeks away
Yeah.
now, I think I'll go ahead and do it then, like just prepare for that, and then I can enjoy the clutch, the 240, rip some solid burnouts. You
Dude,
know?
that's so
I'm
sick.
so close to putting a limited slip in the truck.
Yeah, just weld it.
So close. I don't want to weld it because I mean I want to be able to use the truck still. That's my whole thing. It's a pickup truck. It's my only pickup truck. I want to be able to use it as a utility
No,
vehicle,
absolutely.
but I also want it to be fun to rip.
Yeah,
And-
a weld or a limited slip would be solid.
Yeah, and right now it's so open, it's not even funny. I've gotten stuck in sand before, like, and I'm in a pickup truck. Like, I shouldn't be getting stuck. It's a 2-wheel drive truck, and it's an open differential, so it's like the most lame pickup truck as far as drivetrain you can get. But just a limited slip alone is enough to kind of make it
A little more
what
fun.
I want, and it's expensive.
It is expensive. They're very expensive.
Yeah, it's
That
like,
was-
like almost $1,000.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They're crazy
It's like
expensive.
$800.
Almost $1,000?
It's like $800 for just the inside of the differential.
Not
so
even the-
you take the pumpkin apart, you put the new guts in,
Yeah.
and then you
Lube it
also
up
have
all
to
good.
buy a new bearing that fits perfectly on it, and you have to make sure you put new fluid in, which is expensive. It costs you like $1,000.
Yeah, diff fluid is surprisingly expensive.
Yeah.
because that was another reason I was pricing out everything for this build, and I was like, let me just cut the $100 there.
Yeah.
and I know it's going to be another 50 on top of that of some part that I don't have.
Yeah.
you know, it was the same thing that I had to like buy a throw out bearing and a pilot bearing that I didn't think about.
Yep.
You know, and like when you have to get it that next week,
Yeah.
it's hard to get stuff for cheap. you know?
How much did it end up costing?
You know, I haven't added it up yet. I've saved all the receipts
Uh-huh.
because there was a lot of like Ace Hardware to go just like get bolts, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of like Advanced Auto Parts and a lot of beer runs and pizza runs too. Like every time we worked, we pretty much would run into a problem, go out and get a part, go and get food, come back and work on it and eat and then drink. So all in all, like I highly recommend anyone wanting to get into it, full send it because it is
send.
fun.
Yeah.
And
You
you
have the
learn
funds.
so much. Yeah.
The cool thing is what you did that I don't know if I could do, which I respect people who do it, is buying a car that needs that much work.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, a lot of my car didn't need that work because I'm building it to turbo
Yeah,
it
yeah.
and to have like a fun car that I can take to the mountains and to the beach and also to drift events.
Oh, dude, that's gonna
So-
be so fun.
But from your goal of it, like what you wanted it to be versus what it was, it needed so much.
It did, yes, very much so. And,
yeah.
and even like when I bought it, the lady had brand new brakes and brand new
Okay.
tires on it. So that was like a huge success, especially for like a 16-year-old. But my top was ripped in areas. My back window was broken.
Yeah.
The top cost $1,500 and the window cost like
Dude, $1,500 for the
Yeah.
top?
Soft tops are expensive.
They're crazy expensive.
What?
And then the back window, I think, was like $600 or $700 to replace. So it was like, okay.
Isn't it like a little acrylic, like plastic window?
It is, but you have to sew it in. So, and you have to like take apart the top to do it. It's a menace.
Oh my God.
But if you're in the Raleigh area and need someone to do it, Auto Tops Interior, I think, where I went, they did solid work.
Right, man.
But yeah, so that was like one thing that I needed done. There's a rust spot. There's a bunch of little things, like little parts. But overall, the engine ran and the transmission was good, you know?
That's all you need.
The worst part is I constantly had vacuum leaks. There's, on those old cars, because of EGR systems, and they're so new and they're trying to balance the whole environmentally friendly stuff.
Exhaust gas regulation. Is that what that is?
I think so. That sounds right. But
Sounds right.
Jamie, do you want to pull that up?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
There's maybe 4 different components, like big ones, and there's a bunch of vacuum hoses that go between there. And there's one on the back of the engine that's got maybe like 4 metal piping that redirects it, and there's maybe 8 to 12 different little vacuum hoses, and all these vacuum hoses are 30 years old and they're starting to crack. And every time you get a vacuum leak on your engine, it starts to like slowly shake to violently shake.
Yeah.
So you can't realistically like run your car well.
Yeah.
So I had vacuum leaks all the time because one of those would always go, and I didn't realize how many vacuum lines there were until I did the engine swap.
That is wacky.
It's pretty terrible. The nice thing is now that the car is old enough, I don't have to pass admissions, so all the EGR got deleted. And I know that's like questionable because like acid rain and stuff.
No.
Exhaust.
I don't drive
Get
enough
that
to worry about
freaking
that.
crap out of there.
Exhaust gas recirculation. It's for regulating and reducing nitrogen oxide emissions.
It actually-
NOx.
It's fascinating the way that
Bull
it
us.
works. It redirects your exhaust gases and like decreases the temperature in the combustion chamber, which is just like mind blowing that someone figured out that like decreased carbon emissions.
Yeah.
Like
It's
I-
insane. The
Yeah.
amount of stuff they're doing, like cars, people are talking about, emissions and CO2 emissions and CO emissions and like all this stuff that's getting released. And at this point, cars are so efficient.
Yeah.
Like we're not supposed to be looking at cars anymore. We're supposed to be looking at like factories and stuff. And the factories in the U.S. are under such strict regulation, and for some
Compared to other countries.
reason, people aren't willing to call out the other countries.
Not at all. Especially this one country.
Yeah,
It's like crazy.
Which one would that
It's like
might be?
crazy big and like
yeah. It starts with a C
Starts
and
with
ends
a
with a Ina. It starts with a CH and ends with a Ina. And they have smog everywhere.
they do, yeah.
Which so does California for whatever reason, though.
Yeah, California is like a
Because they're
disgusting
freaking
state.
hot
Yeah.
box their whole state.
They
right?
do have a huge amount of like, it's New York, but everyone drives.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like that is the upside of New York is like you
No
have
one-
to take the subway and it's
Yeah.
so expensive. But
Oh, dude.
but like California is so spread out, you have to have a car.
Yeah, that's true. California, it's a beautiful state.
It's a place that
But-
you should visit.
But the people, like,
Not live.
the ants that march there are freaking very invasive,
There's
not fun ants.
So many cool
You've been
things.
bit by the ants there.
Dude, there's this one ant pile called Skid Row, and it freaking is crazy to see in person. Give me a crotch.
And my crotch.
Thank you. I needed one. It boosts my spirits.
Yeah,
When I thought about Skid Row, I got so mad about poverty and
my
like poor
gosh.
people. Poor people make me mad. So I need my crotch back.
Oh my gosh. There is like when you are I consider us like middle class, like we're not at least
I would
for
say
me,
we're probably like upper middle class.
Like I'm poor.
I would say
I mean, financially, I'm poor. I grew up like
Oh, yeah,
upper
absolutely.
middle
yeah,
class.
myself poor,
broke.
but
Bro,
growing
yeah,
up
terrible.
and the like support system I have is not poor.
Yeah,
Like
no,
it's
I
not
agree. I hear you.
rich. It's not like I can get
You
anything
still have to worry
I
about a
want,
budget.
but it's I'm not worried about eating ever.
No, I get that. I get
Ever.
that.
You know, I'm not worried about clothes. I'm worried about like fun stuff at this point.
Yeah.
It's like do I get fun stuff
Yeah.
this month? You know, not like do I get to eat.
Do I get fun stuff this
Exactly. Like it's like, dude, this
Yeah.
month do we get to have a lot of fun,
Exactly.
or do we just have like just regular
I got
month
fun
where we
stuff.
just eat a lot?
I get
You
fun
know, it's
stuff,
like-
bro. I drove
No, I get that.
embarrassing to talk about, but I drove yesterday 45 minutes out to Beaver Creek to pick up some Beyblades
That's the upper.
off Facebook Marketplace. That is
Incredible.
upper middle class activity. Where I felt so weird. I walk up to these people's door and it's
How
like,
old? Like, were they expecting that you were going to be like buying it for your kid?
yeah, 100%. Because I walked up to the door and it was a dad and his like 6-year-old.
Oh my
And he was
gosh.
holding the Beyblade. I handed him like a 20.
That's
And
incredible.
I was like, oh, thanks so much, little man. He's like, you're welcome. And then dude, it was so weird. I
He just went home and played
dude,
with them.
I was like in a daze on the way home. I was like, what am I doing? I was like, I drove an hour and a half for $20 worth of
It's
Beyblades.
so funny.
But
Tore my bicep ripping those bad boys.
oh my gosh, my point though with the class talk is that we moved into a new place very recently, and it was very trashed by the last.
Oh, your new
Yeah.
place? No,
It
not
was
your
very
parents.
lower class when we first
it
saw
was
it.
trashed
that sucks.
by a family who was in, it was registered as Section 8 housing before we got in there, and it was, that like they trashed the place, but there was
Way
pretty
to make
much
college kids look good as like tenants.
yeah. But every appliance had to go. It was
That
like
sucks.
it was gross. It was like it smelled awful.
Oh.
And we took the for some reason the dishwasher that didn't work and the refrigerator that did work, but it was disgusting. Were
Gross
out
as
in the
frick.
yard, and they were supposed to be collected by the people who brought the new appliances in, which we didn't buy. The owners of the property bought.
Yeah.
Oh, I know where you're going.
And yeah. And so I was like, okay, we got to get rid of this refrigerator. It works. I was going to just bring it to the dump, which is like 5 minutes away.
Yeah, it's right down the road.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to post it for free on Facebook Marketplace.
See if anyone picks it up.
I must have gotten 100 messages.
People go crazy over
It was
fridges.
crazy.
Well-
And free stuff, even in general.
Yeah.
I got so many messages. And some of them were so sad.
Oh.
I got multiple that was like, my dad has cancer and he needs to
sob
refrigerate
stories.
his medicine. So can I come get this? And then someone was like, we can't afford anything and we've been looking for a new refrigerator and we need it. And then finally, the first person who said I can come pick it up today,
They got it.
they got it.
Yeah.
And they showed up in a Dodge Durango. And the refrigerator didn't fit in the Dodge Durango. And
Dude,
and
tore
he was there.
It tore their car to shreds.
Yeah, so-
us trying to get it in there.
he was this.
You
he-
loaded it for him?
Yeah,
too?
We
he-
tried.
He was this Hispanic guy, and he was like,
That's
"Wow,
funny.
I think it'll fit." He's like, and we're like, "I don't
You guys are
know."
incredible.
Bro,
at
he
I
that.
don't
popped-
know.
He popped his trunk. We were like, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
bro.
well, like it didn't look like it would fit, but he was like,
This is like a full-size fridge, right?
He had a
it was a full size fridge, double door.
Oh my
everything.
gosh.
He had a tape measure out. He's measuring everything. He's like, it will fit.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. And he's like, we're just helping him. He's instructing what we're
Yeah.
gonna do. It did not fit.
Yeah.
And it caught on the carpet and it started tearing the carpet up.
Oh, no.
And then eventually we like pull it back out because it just like it wasn't fitting. And I was like, it was him and his girlfriend or wife or whatever.
So sad.
They obviously like really needed the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the wife and I'm like, how far away are you guys? And I'm trying, just make it sound like casual conversation.
So that
and
if they're like 5 minutes, you can put it in your truck.
yeah, and they were like, within 15 minutes, and I'm like, I have stuff to do that day. Like I have to go to
Yeah.
work and stuff. But I'm
Yeah.
like, help me load it into my truck, and I'm gonna just drive to your house, and I'm
what a
gonna
guy.
unload it. But it's not even like I'm not trying to brag.
But that's
and
good.
sound
No,
like,
that's
I
good
didn't take it
karma
that
right
way.
there.
it was just like
good karma.
I felt like we're in this situation where there's no way it's gonna get loaded into this car.
Yeah.
They need it so bad. They're here. It's only a little bit farther than the dump, and I'd rather they have it. And so I'm like, and she looks at me with the most sad look on her face, and she's like, "We don't have any money for gas." And I'm like,
Like they couldn't
They
give
couldn't
us,
pay me.
They couldn't
give
even
us
like
Yeah.
toss you
anything.
$20.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
Yeah,
you
dude,
know,
that's so
I'm
tough.
gonna bring
You
you.
could tell by her clothes too that
Yeah.
was like it was poverty type
and
clothes.
we drive. I get him to come with me because I'm like, I don't really want to show up somewhere I have no idea
Yeah,
where it
and, like,
is
get murked
from
or
these people,
something.
and something weird happens.
Yeah.
I get robbed. I mean, not like I thought they were gonna rob me, but I just did not
But
know
it's
what
good
I was
to
getting
be
into.
semi-cautious,
Yeah.
you know? That's the
Yeah.
survival instincts kicking in.
And so we show up to this trailer.
Yeah, we knew we were going to a shady spot.
Yeah.
You know?
We show up to this trailer that they had apparently just moved into, and there must have been, like, a realistic guess, 7 dogs in the house.
In the house, bro. It was probably smaller than this room, honestly.
Yeah.
Their whole house.
And there was so many dogs in it. And there was their son or one of their
A
sons
son that was
Yeah.
way darker
than
than
either of them.
Either of them.
Yeah,
which
so-
was strange.
And it was just
Trash, bro.
We
Yeah.
helped
Trash
them.
like you never seen before.
Yeah, there was
Like
trash
quarter level.
everywhere. Like all over the yard and like
and
That's so
it was
sad.
disgusting.
we helped them unload it out of the truck, and then, you know, he shook my hand. Like he's a good guy. Like he seemed like a good guy, but it was just it was such a thing, you know, that
Yeah.
day. Like, and I was like, I felt good that I helped him out, but I was like, you know, there's so many people who live so different than I do
Yeah. Well, and I can't imagine also like trying to get a start in
from that position.
that position, like, let alone, like, I think I have a huge advantage because of what I've learned from my family.
Yeah.
You know, like, just like from parents passing down and like training me well, you know? Mm-hmm. On top of that, like, starting off being blessed enough to like be able to go to college and like get a degree in something that can make decent money. Which I'm very thankful for, but I can't imagine like even going through this. Let's say I had the opportunity to go to school, get this degree, starting off to like buy a house. Like that's crazy, especially like with how expensive apartments are.
yeah.
How are you supposed to save up 20% to put
I
down?
have no idea.
Especially
You're
like
asking me.
yeah, and thankfully I have very few expenses. Like I go to school,
Mm-hmm.
I still live at home to save money, which is kind of like I wish I moved in with you guys. That would have been so much more.
Had an
fun.
opportunity.
I know,
you know?
I know, and
Had an
I wish
opportunity.
I was able to take it, but like right now, it
No,
was like
that's where you should be.
Can I build the 240 or like and like go on trips and stuff like that and enjoy my summers,
Yeah.
or like do I want to move in? Which I think it would have been a blast and would have been a fun time. And honestly, like when I'm out of school, that might be a door that opens up in that direction
Yeah.
for you guys or someone else. But like I can't imagine going back to that, like just starting out from nothing, you know. And
I mean, I've never been there, so it's like it's
I've
hard.
never-
We tend to like mimic what our parents do.
Yeah.
And if our parents are like upper middle class, it's
and
like
it works for them. Like
it's like we tend to even buy like the same food they buy and
Yeah.
like the same clothes. And
have a budget.
yeah, exactly.
Don't buy
It's like-
anything out of your means.
Well, it's also like you buy nice stuff. If you can afford nice stuff, it lasts
It does last
so
yeah.
long.
It really
And if
does.
you can't afford to buy nice stuff, you have to buy the cheap stuff, which wears out so fast.
That is true. That is true.
And so it's more expensive by
it's
far
more expensive to be poor.
to be poor. It's
It really
way
is, yo.
more
There's
expensive.
We've had this
stuff, yeah.
discussion before. We're like, the poor stay poor because they just buy trash and the trash breaks,
It's
and then
way
they have to
more
buy cheap.
expensive.
They have to buy cheap cars, and then cheap cars break, and like
And it's so much money in repairs opposed
Yeah,
to like
and-
spending 10 grand on a Honda Civic is gonna last
Yeah.
you some amount of time.
Well,
and the
even-
freaking roof starts leaking. They put a tarp on it, bro.
yeah.
You buy
That's true.
worse,
you buy
man.
nice boots, they last forever. You buy cheap boots.
I meant to wear my new boots
You got the
over,
boot.
You buy cheap boots, they last 4 months.
like a pair of Vans.
yeah.
Just-
And then
right through it.
but
I'm
they,
gonna say
but they
you could
were
find
like
a nice
$40
pair.
bucks.
You can find a nice pair of cheap boots. So I bought those Rockports like 4 years ago.
yeah.
Yeah,
How are
but-
they?
They're good.
But if you worked construction, which a lot of people who are lower income worked, they would have worn out so fast.
That's true.
It's
yeah.
not even funny.
Gotta get the Tims, steel toe Tims.
No, it's
the way
crazy.
to
Like
go.
everything. It's everything. It's houses. It's everything you can afford when you can't afford much is more expensive in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
Crazy.
true. So one thing that like I've decided that I'm ready to spend money on when I'm an adult and making money is a good dishwasher.
Yeah, but
Like
but what does that mean
What is-
nowadays?
I have no idea. I don't
a
know.
like a person.
A fine wife. No.
Buy
no.
one of them.
No, but like we have a dishwasher that is very adequate. It washes our dishes, but you have to like rinse off everything. You have to make sure it's completely like your plate needs to be clean before it
Before
can
it
be
goes
clean.
Yeah, you want the industrial guy.
See, and my aunt and uncle, you can like my cousins thought it was crazy for like how much I was rinsing off because they just like put it in there, like food's still on it, and the thing just like cleans it, comes out pristine.
Yep.
That's like peak laziness, like what I want, you know?
Yeah.
That makes sense, and it's that thing. It's the issue with appliances these days is they're such garbage all
And you
over the
can't
place.
fix them.
And you can't do
No.
anything to them. Once they're gone, you just replace them.
Yeah.
But there are still industrial grade stuff that you can buy, and
That's what I want.
That look
Industrial
nice.
kitchen.
Like, have you ever seen an industrial refrigerator?
Dude,
They
my
cost
buddy's
a lot,
and my
I'm
buddy's
sure.
mom and dad have one, and it's just like
Is it just this massive?
it's just monster, and you
And
open it
the-
up, it's like freaking
The
huge.
condensers
incredible.
up on the top.
It must be.
There's like vents
Oh,
on
so
the
you
top.
have like way more room.
Yeah, it's like it's just it's
You
so
have way more room, and it's
built
just huge.
like a restaurant, like
Yeah.
refrigerator would
Nice.
be built. They're so cool.
Dude, I want to walk in my house.
A walk-in would be
A
cool.
walk-in fridge.
Oh,
They have
interesting.
them. We used to have them at, or they still have them at like Jersey Mike's, but
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
this
yeah.
like it's like 8x5 room, and it's
Yeah.
just you open it. It's just
frozen
cold
in
in
there.
there.
Or those like massive Costco rooms.
Yeah,
That are
I know
like-
what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
dude,
Yeah,
yeah,
I have one of those in my
where all
They
Yeah,
go to
house.
people's houses.
Yeah,
the eggs and the dairy
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
are in
yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, those are insane.
And those they feel like a living room worth of size,
at least,
and they're like
huge.
40 degrees or less.
Dude,
they
yeah.
must be like less than that, right? If they're no, they have to be what 43. What's the temperature?
Slightly above freezing.
I at one point I
Yeah.
had to know this.
I think
34.
41 is the number in my mind.
41 makes sense.
But do you think if we tried, we could stay the night in Costco?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think it would be
You
that
think?
hard.
Dude, the thing is so wide open.
You just
There's
can't
not as many good hiding spots. As
Not
other
as many.
places.
40 or below according to the FDA. Okay,
Interesting.
but yeah, I think we could do it. The issue is if you get caught, you'd get in trouble, I think.
But that would be a really good video for your channel.
Yeah, let's
It
see
would.
Mr. Beast do it.
24 hours in Costco.
24
Yeah.
hours in Costco. People do that 24 hours in Walmart and stuff, and they just find a hiding spot and they just stay there. But the thing is, there's like security cameras, so you have to commit to being like in your hiding spot all night.
I think we could do it.
That's
You
also,
can't really move much because
Yeah.
there's like motion.
What would be the best like store to do it in?
Probably
IKEA.
a hardware store, or IKEA would be a good one.
You know,
could
if you-
hide under
IKEA is
a
so
bed.
big.
If you could climb up on like the wood and Lowe's or something like that, get up top there. I don't know what the camera situation is. Like, I've never
Yeah,
looked.
I mean every store has cameras, but like there's not like a security guard just freaking
No,
like watching it.
It's not the cameras that are the issue. I think it's like motion detection, which I feel like once they close the store down,
Oh, if they have an alarm or something,
yeah, they probably do.
That would be tough.
They probably do.
And then
'cause-
at that point, that's breaking.
I don't know.
and entering.
I don't think it would.
Yeah.
I
At
don't
that
think it
point,
would
it's-
trip an alarm if something moved in the store.
I think it might, but the thing about Lowe's is they always have those birds in there.
Yeah, for a place like that. But
Yeah.
like if you're in Target, like Target
Target probably is locked down
Yeah.
at night.
Because have you driven by the one in Timber? They have like a one entrance in and one entrance
Yeah,
out,
uh-huh.
and they have a garage door that comes down.
Really?
Yeah,
I
drive by
did
there.
not know that.
Drive by there at like
Dude,
12.
we should try to do it in there. We should do like the high octane, high
That'd be so
octane
crazy.
overnight.
Well, I mean, if you could just sleep and then wake up, it'd be so crazy because you wake up and there's just people in there again. And when you get out, like if you're leaving wherever you were hiding and there's people there, it's like no big deal.
No.
But if you leave in the middle of the night, it's a
That's
huge
the thing.
deal.
Is if you're in there when it's open, you're not in trouble.
Yeah.
Like if you leave when it opens, they're like,
nothing's wrong.
How'd you get in here? But like,
Yeah.
we're like, ooh.
No, you gotta get the
I think Walmart would be super easy.
you gotta get like an empty
Yeah.
2-liter
Yeah.
with you to pee into.
You think?
That's true.
Maybe I could
You need some way to pee.
camp out in the bathroom.
Because 8 hours is doable.
Camping
without
out in the
peeing.
bathroom, the issue with that is
They're gonna check it when they
they
close
probably
the store.
check the bathroom when they close.
You think? Maybe I'd go. I
They
would
probably
go in the
don't
ceiling.
every time. They're probably supposed to, but they probably don't every
That's a
time.
good chance.
I would
You just
probably
have to
go
roll
in the
dice.
ceiling.
In the ceiling in the
Bro,
bathroom.
you go in the bathroom, hop up on the little wall,
and then get in the
ceiling, close, you come down, or you stay up there.
You could just hang out in the bathroom. You could flush all night. You could just pee, but it probably stinks in there a little bit.
Also, you don't want to like sit down.
Target bathrooms.
Yeah, where are you
really
gonna
clean.
sleep in the bathroom?
Yeah.
On the floor.
Dude? It's a challenge. That's the thing. You got to find out. You got to see what you're capable of.
Oh my gosh.
I think I could do it.
So
I'm gonna do it.
You should try it.
Target, I'm
you
coming
guys should
for you.
podcast and
Oh my god.
Oh, that would be
Wait,
great. We're
what-
mic'd up.
We
Yeah.
did a podcast at like 2:30 a.m. in a Target bathroom.
We're both just blasted.
Yeah, we bring.
Just buds all over the floor.
Yeah.
Just the
Cans
janitor
riddled.
comes in. He's like, "Oh my god!"
What has happened in here?
Like a Ugandan guy.
Yeah.
What has happened in here?
What tribe are you from?
What are these kins? Where did they come from?
so on the subject of like
This is like an easy segue for Will.
yeah.
So now that we're on this,
Yeah.
all right, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
well,
What do you have to say?
going on with the like places that you could stay.
Okay.
I've been thinking about. I'm kind of tired of living at home. You know, Percy is just terrible to be around.
Yeah,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
your giant golden retriever.
Yeah.
that barks at his own shadow.
It's a menace to society.
Is he still insane?
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's truly awful. But
poor guy.
and I commute to school a lot. Like I spend a lot of my day driving to school because I'm there basically 6 days a week now because of different athletic stuff and then school stuff and then sometimes I have clinicals on Saturdays, so sometimes I have to go like to Dunn or to Fayetteville. And I was pondering while in the gymnasium for the basketball gym, I have access to one of the rooms there, and I was just thinking about that I could live there. Like I could bring in a little cot,
Dude.
and I could bring in my clothes, and there's like sinks and restrooms, and there's places to do laundry. It's
Really?
also it's also got like at least 8 locker rooms, I think, because they have different teams come in.
Yeah.
So there's showers. There's like everything I need.
And you have full access, right?
Yeah. So all I need is a meal pass to the dining hall, and then at that point I could just like live on campus. You know.
That would be a great.
And not in the
story.
traditional way where you just get a dorm room.
Yeah, and I could actually have my own alcohol because room checks aren't going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
You're just-
and if they do, there's a bigger
you're just
problem
in the
with alcohol.
closet.
Yeah, but I go to a dry campus school, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, I totally forgot about that.
it's kind of tough. I like drinking. You know, I never finish answering the question of why I stopped.
yeah, we
but
do too.
Circling it back.
Yeah.
But I enjoy drinking. And I get schools not wanting to have alcohol, but I really am disappointed that they don't have beers for sale at games. Because like drinking beer and not like I'm not talking about like getting plastered at a game,
Yeah.
but just like having a beer and like watching a basketball game or a football game is like fun, or a baseball game. Like when we go to Durham Bowls,
yeah, dude, that's
and we
fun as frick.
That's
Yeah.
the American dream.
and we put down the like Raleigh Brewing Company beers.
Yeah, the like
Bull City or
Bull City
whatever.
beers
Dude.
that are
Or
like
you go to
$5 for
a
the
Hurricanes game and you get the, what are they called?
The Storm Brews.
Storm Brews,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You know, they are also made by Raleigh Brewing Company.
I didn't know
I'm
that.
pretty sure they're
Wow.
the same exact beer as the Bull City.
I
It is
believe
not
it.
confirmed.
Really?
But I believe it is.
I believe it.
that.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
But yeah, but like I feel like it's such a staple to games, and it's very disappointing that they don't do that.
Especially if you're of age, you know?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Why do you know why it's
I know
dry there?
it is a Christian university, so I wonder if that's part
Which
of it.
always confuses me
Okay, yeah,
because Christians
Jesus
aren't
turned
like
water into
Christians
wine.
aren't like inherently against alcohol.
Yeah, but
In the
it
South
is-
they are.
It is more of a Baptist
Really?
school.
Baptist. It's Southern
And-
Baptist.
And Southern Baptists really don't like to drink.
Just because they don't like to drink.
I get it.
The
You know,
frick, man.
I'm all for
Let them drink. What the frick, bro? They're freaking college kids. They're like there to make mistakes.
We also what
You
a hot
know?
take.
Yeah. It's not even
It's
a hot
kind of
take.
true.
We're also a small school, and we have a huge amount of athletic members.
Yeah.
And that being said, I know they all party. So
That's
it's
the thing
like-
is they're gonna drink anyway.
yeah.
Everybody drinks.
So I don't get
In
why
college,
they're
at
so uptight about it, because I think everyone's in denial, like faking denial. Mechanical engineer.
That
at
makes
work.
no sense. What's happening? Tyler's disassembling his microphone.
What?
How is it? Do you feel like it's better?
No, it's the same. It
It
just
is the
doesn't have the
same.
pop filter on it anymore.
I gotcha.
Wait, do a little. And honestly, it's the same.
No,
Well,
more,
no,
it's
no,
more
it's
poppy.
not. Yeah, it's more poppy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of ticks me off that they. I mean, I guess Southern Baptists don't like to drink, but like not everyone who goes to Campbell, including my sister and you, are Southern Baptist.
Most people, like I think even the ones that are very strong in their faith are not.
I know,
not
bro.
drinking,
Even
you know?
even like the strongest people I know, like the strongest Christians I know, still drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's just gonna happen.
I was talking to one of the churches I've been going, or the church I've been going to recently. I was talking to one of the youth leaders there, because if you're on staff there, they don't want you to drink.
Yeah.
Pee break.
Yeah.
And he did mention, because I was like, I think it's kind of like silly. you
Yeah.
know? I don't think it's a problem to drink. I also think that having alcohol in your system makes you a little more vulnerable, and you can have good conversations with people.
That's true. Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think in moderation, especially if you're
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
focused
Like,
on it.
like getting plastered is obviously not a good thing.
Yeah, and I
it
think
can
it
lead
leads
to
to
bad
stupidity.
It can lead to bad. Like, first thing, like of drunkenness, it's like
Yeah.
lack of judgment. Your
Yeah.
judgment goes out the door. But like a nice buzz or whatever, it's like you're fine.
Well,
you know?
and I think like part of that too is God's protection. You know, like
Yeah.
drunkenness, like you're going to be hungover the next day. You're not going to feel well.
Yeah.
But then like, what if you're sitting there and you're plastered, and then your wife is in the hospital? You can't drive to her.
Yeah.
You know, like I think it's another protection that God puts in place. That's like, hey, you shouldn't be unable to control yourself.
Yeah.
Because like if an emergency happens, you can't do anything. You know.
Yeah, I think that's the line. Is like, it's like I try to. I mean, I get drunk sometimes, but I never get like
Obliterated. Like I've never carried you to bed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it's like, there's that line where it's like, even as like people that aren't Christian, it's like you should still have that like thing in your mind where it's
To
like,
not be belligerent drunk.
yeah, and I probably shouldn't be at this stage.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
or when you get to that point, like I've gotten to that point many times, and I'm like, there's like, it's so easy to just like knock a few more back.
Oh yeah.
But like you're just like, I feel great, I feel awesome,
sorry.
so I'm just gonna like chill out.
Yeah.
And it's such an easy decision to make, but
Absolutely.
people just like jump off the bridge and just get plastered, and then it gets them in trouble.
And there's a kid at the frat party with like $5 vodka bottle. They're just like putting back, and then you can see him like 1/4 of the way through, and they're just swaying back.
Which
and
I think
forward.
it's still like it's okay to get plastered, because people need to know what it like feels like.
My
I
dad-
think in a controlled environment.
that's safe.
Yeah, and it's okay to do, but like I can understand like if you're curious about it and like getting plastered a few times.
Yeah.
I understand it.
There's
but
also a big difference between different people getting very intoxicated.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Some people get super angry. Some people lose track of their self-control. Some people are fine.
Yeah.
You know, and not the health thing. Everyone, it's unhealthy for anyone
It's
to
bad
do it.
for everyone.
It's bad for everybody. But as far as how you handle yourself and how you can control yourself and what you do, that is some people just do not interact very well with alcohol. That's the biggest thing, I think.
I think like you should have the self-awareness to be like,
I'm too far in.
I'm
Like,
too far in,
I'm
and
gonna
like
make stupid
maybe
choices.
I suck at drinking, and like I don't want to be angry.
Yeah.
Try something else.
Well, that's why I was talking to some friends from school, and they go out and like, they probably go out and party twice a weekend. You know?
Yeah.
And
That's hard.
This girl was telling me that there's this one dude that either tries and picks a fight with someone, and he's like a lightweight, so he just like constantly gets obliterated off of like a couple of White Claws.
Yeah.
Tries to fight someone, and then ends up like she walked into the living room and he was peeing in her kitchen, just like on
Oh
the
my
floor.
god!
I was like, dude, if you're 8 beers in and your first response is to either like punch a dude in front of you
Yeah.
or pee on the floor,
Yeah.
like you shouldn't be drinking.
It's also it's partially responsibility of like the people around him to tell him after the fact, like,
Yeah,
yo, you're out of control when you drink, so
Yeah.
don't.
and I've
Or
never,
like,
I've
don't
never drank with this
yeah,
guy. So I
don't drink
know.
around me. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't pee in my kitchen, man. I gotta pee.
don't
I'm
pee
talking
in my
about pee. I
kitchen.
gotta pee so bad.
you should pee
Go
right
ahead.
here on the floor after.
I'm gonna go in your kitchen.
Yeah, we're getting there. We've been going longer and longer every podcast.
Well, it's hard not to because it's such a fun like
It's such a it ends up being this
fun conversations.
Yeah, and it ends up being you forget it's only a good podcast if in the middle, or not even the middle, like a couple minutes in, you start to forget.
Yeah,
That's when it becomes a good podcast, I think. When you start to forget that you're in like you're recording it, and I'm gonna already said this podcast, but the issue is you start talking. Your microphone is making all kinds of noise. You start talking and you just are hanging out and you don't think about it, and then like it's already been 2 hours and 18 minutes worth of
man.
recording. Yeah, isn't that insane?
that's crazy.
Would you have thought that it was that long?
I probably would have figured it'd be this time, but I'm still surprised you guys wanted me on the podcast.
Why? Why?
I don't
Why?
know. I got nothing like crazy interesting to
It's not.
besides just like a conversation.
That's
you know?
where I come back into it, right? I come back into saying everyone's interesting.
I appreciate that. I like that point of view.
I think everybody's interesting, dude. There's nobody who is not interesting once you start getting into what they believe and what they think and
Yeah.
and how they work and how they. It's so interesting to learn about all these different people.
And that's like something I've been trying to get to know people better by just asking them questions about themselves. And I've been asking people what's the like weirdest conspiracy theory that they believe in that they think
Okay.
is true, which I thought would be like a good question to get to know people. But now everyone just assumes that I'm like into weird
A
conspiracy.
conspiracy theorist.
So it definitely like it backfired on me.
You're like,
That is
Will.
so
he's-
funny,
why
bro.
is Will?
'Cause
like,
you're so, like-
Such a
into
weird dude.
conspiracy
But you're such like a
theorists?
stand-up guy. Well, you're
appreciate
like
that.
one of the few that I would like take to any situation.
Well, thank you.
Or invite to any situation.
Thank you.
Like around
Yeah.
around parents, around my grandparents, or to a party, or not to a party, or
I'm
to
not
like
gonna hit on your mom.
or to like to take you paintballing or freaking yeah. You're one of the few that I can like trust that you're gonna behave. Kind
Well, I
of thing.
appreciate that. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
But I did.
But that's
ask-
so funny that people think you're weird because
Well, I
you're
asked-
like, what's your favorite conspiracy?
I look him in the eyes.
Yeah,
He's trying to be
sit 'em down.
social.
Yeah.
Sit 'em down.
your favorite
Hey, I'm Will. Hey, I'm Will. Conspiracy you like? You have, yes.
So, well, and I asked one dude that, and he goes, I'd have to Go ahead, hit the button.
No, go on. Go on.
Finger on the trigger.
I got it ready if it's funny. If it's funny.
And I was talking to him, and I was like, "What's your like weirdest conspiracy theory?" And he's like, "I have to think about that." And he goes, "But I have a feeling you got some." And I realized that like that was the moment.
That was when you realized it backfired?
Yeah. I feel like I have some reasonable ones. I don't think any of mine are like wild. Like I don't believe that. Dude, I'm so sorry.
Dude,
I'll bring better cables
The
next time.
waterfall cable.
Better.
I don't think that the COVID vaccine has microchips. You know, like it's not the kind of conspiracy theories I'm into. But I do think there's some like fishy stuff with JFK, and then I guess like there's weird coincidences. I think my biggest one is, you know, that shooting that happened in Vegas
Recently?
Yeah, like 2016
Yeah.
was the concert, and they shot from the Trump Tower.
From the
From like the 58th floor or something like that.
Yeah.
Have you looked into that? Have you like
No,
seen conspiracy
not
theories?
at all.
I didn't even know about this.
It is weird. Like there's dudes that are like, I definitely heard M240s shooting that are like military dudes.
Yeah.
And they're like, there was multiple shooters at different areas. There's like footage of like helicopters, like not like, you can't really make them out.
Yeah.
But like you can see like different reflections or something. And then I have heard, none of this is fact checked by me, so take it with a grain of salt.
Okay.
Jamie, get on the computer. But
Yeah.
I've heard that the amount of bullets that were fired could not be fired in his arsenal that he had.
Really?
He'd have to be shooting multiple ARs, which he did have like 50 something ARs. Like he had a huge amount he had a huge amount of rifles and a huge amount of ammunition there. So that was like one thing.
He was doing long range with an AR.
I think so.
Which I mean,
could
like,
be,
that's
again, I could be.
Yeah.
I have not looked into this.
Yeah.
Like,
So he doesn't have like a
And
real
so
like.
he was in the
sniper
50.
rifle.
All right, he was quote unquote
on
in
that tall
floor of the Trump Tower.
yeah,
shooting down
into the crowd.
Okay.
So like realistically, I don't think it really matters what firearm you have. If there's a massive group of anything,
It does. You're
you're
gonna hit
hitting
something. Yeah.
But there was stuff like that, and then his brother came out and he was like, he didn't do this. Like he wouldn't do that. Which of course, like if you're family, you'd protect him.
Yeah.
Then it ended up that he got caught with like 54 terabytes of child pornography. And then his house burned down a few weeks later. Like it is just
Dude,
weird
what?
stuff like
Yeah.
that. That just makes me like sit back and
Dude,
be like,
54 terabytes.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's insane.
That's enough to
That's-
have 16 gigs and go to the moon and back if you stack them. Of
Yeah.
like that is an insane amount
That's
of
not
like
a realistic amount.
That's not
No.
like
because
you would have to have so many like hard drives.
I don't have 54 terabytes worth of
of
data
anything.
ever.
And like I'm a photographer and I shoot in RAW.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of editing. I've been doing this since high school, like freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
I am basically a senior now. I should be honestly graduated by now.
Yeah.
I think I have like 2.5 maybe terabytes of like raw photos on my computer. Like that is so much data.
Yeah, that's a lot of pictures.
Yeah. So again, like this is all information that is seen on social media. So I could just be being pranked, and it's like, oh, that sounds good. But like I have heard that multiple times.
Dude,
you know,
I don't even think like 54 terabytes of child porn exist.
Yeah.
Like what?
I haven't looked for it, so I can't tell you.
I've been rocking 1 terabyte on my PC for
child porn?
Yeah. Of child porn, dude, for like 5 years.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait. The way you said that is horrible. I want to.
Let me back it
I'm going to-
that guy.
No. You
You're
got
not that
1
guy, pal.
terabyte of storage.
Yeah, storage.
Not 1 terabyte of child porn.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Storage.
Icky.
It's storage. Storage.
The way you said it was awful.
I gotta go clear my search history.
Yeah, it's
Honestly,
Yeah.
guys, I think that's a pretty good note to wrap up on.
All right.
We're hitting that real long.
Yeah,
real
yeah.
long.
What time is it, dude? 9:10 on a school night.
It's 9:10 on a school night. You actually do have school tomorrow, though.
Yeah,
don't you?
man. I got pathology and pharmacology.
Oh, damn.
Pharmacology is cool.
It is interesting.
I'm into that
Yeah,
stuff.
if you're into like poisoning the body.
Yeah, poison of the body. The gas.
Real quick,
Yeah, go ahead.
2 things. First one is, can I do like a plug real quick?
Sure.
Okay.
Plug it up.
You guys,
Wait. Yeah, you can do it.
I want to show you guys something that I'm like super stoked about.
Okay.
That's revolving the 240.
Sure.
So I was pondering, because cars get super expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to boost my car this summer. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what better way to do that than maybe sell stickers?
Oh.
So I just ordered 100 of those, and they'll be 3 inches
Let me
by.
check it out. after you're done.
Toge?
Uh,
How do you say that?
Yeah.
Toge?
The
Sorry.
waterfall mic is acting up.
Toge Racing?
Yeah.
Dude, that's pretty dope.
I like that.
And Toge is like Mountain Pass.
Yeah.
So it's like Mountain Pass Racing.
Uh-huh.
I dig that. Did you do that art yourself?
Yeah.
Dang, bro.
So that's
You did that on, in what?
on Procreate. So that's my 240. So that's
Yeah.
like my rims, my car.
We need to put
Yeah,
that up
that-
on the screen.
I will. Yeah, send this to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. But yeah, if you check out my Instagram page, it's Uncle Ben's Rocket. It's just a bunch of 240s. I think that's going to be my like Toge Racing.
Yeah.
So I ordered 100 of those and then 100 of these,
Okay.
which
So
I
it's-
figured would just if
Yeah, it's
people
cool.
wanted-
The
yeah.
Japanese.
The
yeah,
Japanese
if people
flag.
didn't like car stuff and still wanted to like support.
Okay.
Yeah,
How much?
so-
What are you selling them for, and where are you selling them?
I think I'm just gonna do like DMs and mail them out. I think that's gonna be
Really?
I haven't gotten that far. I haven't even got the stickers in. So
Okay.
this all could. I ordered them yesterday, and they're supposed to send me like pictures of them. So like this could all fall through.
You can also sell them on Etsy. Etsy
I think I will
Etsy
do
kinda
that,
sucks
too.
for the seller because they take a huge cut.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to be selling them otherwise, then it's
yeah.
Just
So I
set
figured,
up like a Shopify and just
Shopify.
Is that a good way of doing it?
Shopify
Yeah.
or Squarespace.
Okay. Sick.
But the issue is they're not like you don't advertise through those. You just sell through
yeah.
those.
So I figured I would just advertise. I'd probably make some like
Sweet.
TikTok videos and then like
Yeah.
through Instagram
Yeah,
and then
do
to
it.
friends. I don't know how these are gonna sell. I think 200 stickers is ambitious, but it was like that was the minimum
Well, you
order.
got two
No,
sellers.
it's
you already
not.
got two buyers right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so I think I'll sell them at
That's
$4 or
1%.
$5 a piece, and then
Okay.
unless
Easy.
you guys don't think that's like reasonable.
No, that's spot on.
So I figured that would
That's
be a
pretty
good
good.
price for a sticker, and then I still actually have some amount of profit margin.
Are they
Yeah.
nice stickers? Are they gonna be like
So the company that I ordered from claims that they use quality vinyl. That
vinyl stickers, right?
Vinyl stickers
Okay,
that
yeah.
are car washable, that
Oh.
like stay on and car wash,
Yeah.
and that can handle most climates and UV rays. So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
why I went.
That's
with
what
that.
I
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
So I
that's what I
spent
like to
more
hear.
money so that like they wouldn't be terrible stickers. So then if you put them on your laptop, you can power wash your laptop and it'll still do it. So
Well, I'm definitely buying one when you get them in.
well, I
Well,
appreciate it.
I'll
I'll
buy
send you
both.
guys.
And we'll put the.
I'll
Do
buy
you
all
want
of
us to post the stickers up here now,
Yeah. Here,
or like the pictures of them up? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Let me send you them when I get home.
send them to me when you get home, and I'll put them up when you were talking about them
sick.
on the pod.
Yeah.
And then if you could put up my Instagram handle too,
Sure,
'cause it's
yeah.
weird.
Uncle Ben's Rocket.
Uncle Ben's Rocket. There should
Is that
be-
your Instagram that I follow?
That's the 240 Instagram.
Oh, I didn't know you had one like that.
Yeah, I don't really post on it much,
Yeah.
and then I've been wanting to build it, but
Okay.
my 240's been in the shop. So.
Sweet, dude. It's going up. Yep. And thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
for
dude.
having me.
Yeah.
Hope it was enjoyable.
It's been a lot of fun.
It was.
So I'm gonna disavow everything I said. It's all satire.
It was the FBI who killed
Yeah.
them all.
Yeah.
The main
It
conspiracy.
was. I
is
don't have
actually-
child porn on my PC, by the way. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
All right. Well. All right.
Let me go. It's time
Deuces.
to game.
Bye, guys.